Right. Hello, VOD watchers. I think I'm going to basically kind of start the stream just by like playing the deck, just while people kind of wait in. And then after a game or so, we'll probably just kind of like talk about the deck and kind of like the high level ideas. So probably wait for people to jump in. Let's start up a game. I don't really want to play against Rivaldo, but I'll try it. Okay, I guess they made left. That's fine. Yep. So today we're going to be playing some boats, Marlin. There's kind of like I guess like alternate Marlin theory, where basically instead of running a bunch of the what do you call it, the 0 for 3 buffs, instead we're basically going to be trying to play more go wide cards, kind of like the tipples, as what like the saltwater swells. That's kind of like at least kind of like the core idea. I think that this style of deck is interesting. Okay, we gotta get Katsu. Well, first or second to Katsu. I feel like second's like pretty reasonable. I could see both, but let's go second. And then Dominion seems fine. I like Tarpatrop and Nikatsu. And then is there anything that's kind of weak? I feel like Swell is maybe a bit on the weaker end. We could also got like Yellow Tipple or something. Maybe even like Red Tipple's like not very exciting. Maybe like leave the red swells in. Not entirely sure how to sideboard this. Maybe actually cut the red swells in for the take covers as well. Alright, give them a good look at fun. Let's try it like this. Again, I don't really know how to sideboard this deck. This is from one of the, I guess, the Pro Tour Singapore. But we're going to give it a shot. Alright, seems just like normal Katsu. Seems fine. I don't know whether first or second is correct. I feel like second is fine because we can just like block out. But first is interesting because you do get the I guess the option to just send an arrow on turn 0, which is good. But like if you're disrupting your opponent's hand on turn 0, they just draw back up, so it's not super exciting. Oh, actually, I think there was maybe a better sideboard choice here in taking out the King Krakens. That's my bad. Might be a little bit of Marlin rust still going on. This is fine though. I feel like maybe you want to hold on to the tipple. Let's take the first 1 point of damage here because I'm curious to see what their turn's going to be. I think the plan is to maybe just try to block 6 on surging, and maybe we're holding on to the tipple. Codex is weird because we don't have like a good target yet. I feel like maybe we do just like force some action here on the surging strike. I feel like I'm like honestly fine even maybe blocking with the Codex. Let's block 5 and see what they do. They empower with this. Not the end of the world. Alright, Legacy, that's also fine. So you're going to get an on-hit draw card. It's pretty good. Maybe I'm slightly regretting going first. Or going second, rather. It's not the end of the world, though. Like, we can still just, like, block 5 underwhelming. And then if they send, like, another point of value, are we that upset about it? I feel like we are. Yeah, this is fine. So they get so if they have bonds, we don't even care. I think this is still fine. I don't think it's the end of the world. We're taking 3 damage on turn 0, which is like whatever. I guess we're just like holding on to Codex. I don't actually know if we're gonna play this next turn, but like it seems fine if we can maybe just like save it for like the turn after, maybe like send a throw on our turn. We'll see. Alright, go ahead and pass back. Alright, 3 Oak is fantastic. Codex also good. So I think we're just gonna rip the 3 Oak here, right? Not a very boaty turn, but I guess it's fine. Alright, so we get port side, King Kraken. Yep, all looks good. Go ahead and just fire off this King. The King Kraken's probably not going to do very much. I probably should have boarded this out, but I've been a little bit rusty at Marlin. I haven't played her in a little bit. And I think our plan is to still just like Arsenal Codex, like hold on to 2 blues. It seems fine. Probably not going to hit anything here. We should actually probably Gold Redook this. You can tell I'm really rusty. I don't think I've played this deck on Talishar, or this hero on Talishar in at least like a week or so. We got a prismatic leyline value. insane Marlynn value. All right, we got a gamer on our hands. So we got Descendant Gust Wave and Act Vengeance. So a little unfortunate. We might not be able to hold on to this codex, but that's fine. Probably just like Arsenal the Portside Exchange then in that case. And then you pretty much know what their turn's going to be. They descend it. I guess they can't really Scar out though. So I guess it doesn't matter. But anyways. Still got a free point of gold, which is nice. It might depend on what their arsenal is, I guess. Let's arsenal the Portside so we know they have an Act Vengeance. And this hand looks pretty good. We got D-React. We can just like let the Portside Exchange die because we don't really care about it, and then just double pitch blue, just get another King Kraken. Maybe we'll hit another Prismatic Leyline and get some insane value there. Hilarious. So actually, the funny thing about this deck, thank you all for joining, by the way. But the funny thing about this deck, so this is from the Pro Tour Singapore. This is like a kind of like boat Marlynn list I found. And the funny thing about this list, this is the original list. I'm playing like a modified version of it, but this list was running a one of copy of Prismatic Leyline, so we're functionally playing the mirror kind of. All right, so there's the Enact Vengeance. That's fine. I think we're just blocking this with the take cover. I feel like there's no real reason to overblock into it. You know, actually, what we could do. Ooh, this is actually kind of exciting. We could block with the Infecting Shot, bait them into Okana Scar Wrapping, and then take cover to cover the leftover, and then they lose their Edge of Autumn. Because they're almost guaranteed to just, like, throw their Okana on this, right? Because they think they're going to hit. I feel like this actually makes sense. Okay. Maybe they didn't want to go for it, but I think it's still fine. I always thought they were, like, guaranteed to just throw their Okana, because, like, I feel like Marlynn normally does not run, like, 0 for 4 D-Reacts. But who knows? All right, so this still kind of works. We're a little bit reliant on hitting a blue off the Portside Exchange. Maybe that was like a little bit greedy, but I think this still works out. All right, let's Portside. Discard the Goldfin, get a blue. Fantastic, never punished. Decline to load. Just hit him with the Codex. Unfortunately, I probably should have boarded out these King Krakens. I'm kind of a little bit regretting my decision. That's fine. So we already made a gold this turn, so the gold bait hook is free. Yep, and this looks good. So all in all, not terrible. Again, I don't think that this card should probably be in for this matchup. But we'll make do. So what I boarded differently, I guess. Maybe I'm supposed to, like, I don't know, leave in some of the more go wide cards. I think that might make sense. All right, so we got the gold bait hook, we got the King Kraken, not hitting anything, which is fine. Yep, seems good. Oh, Sunken Treasure. Oh, this card hates me. Boo. So they have Ancestral Empowerment, they have Hunter Winds in hand. We got some other stuff. Surging Strike's coming in for 3, which is kind of funny. Kind of want to, like, just stop this. So we know that they have Hunter Winds plus... Did they have a 0 cost? Or they had a Descendant Gust Wave in hand, right? So we know they have Descendant. We want to stop the Descendant from hitting ideally so that we're breaking the chain for bonds. But we do have to play around Okana. So in that case, I feel like the correct block is like gold baited plus Tar Pit Trap. And then we just try to fire off the King Shark Harpoon next turn. We might end up even blocking with the Sunken Treasure at some point. But I think this makes sense. We just want to prevent them from Okanaing on this specifically. I guess they also have the Empowerment in hand. So they could, like, double do it if they want to. I guess that's still an option for them, right? Because they have Ancestral Empowerment in hand plus the Okana on board. So I guess the question is whether or not they want to force through the on-hit here, or if they want to try to force it on, like, a later chain link. So this Descendant Gust Wave will not cause Katsu to trigger. So I feel like they almost should have used it there. Maybe. But this is fine. So the Descendant Gust Wave will not hit, which means they don't get to tutor. But they will be doing 6 damage with Ancestral. I think I will try to block with this Sunken Treasure this turn. Wait, what? This defense? Oh, yeah. So I think on Talishar these just like show up, but they shouldn't be allowed to trigger, right? The next time an attack action card hits this turn, effects don't trigger. Yes, so I think this just auto skips these, right? Yes, I think that's correct. Okay, cool. So we stuffed their bonds turn. So now we don't have to worry about bonds. I think I will just still like give the sunken treasure here, just because like we're pretty likely to be able to find resources. So I think we'll turn over the prismatic ley line, get a little bit of extra gold. I think we're in okay shape here. Going for 0, also fine by me. Realty did a lot of work this turn. Let's see what they finish on. They just want Arsenal. Yep, seems good. So I think we're just firing off the King Shark here, which is going to be a lot better than our King Krakens. And then maybe arsenaling the Bolden shot. I guess we don't have to arsenal anything just yet, right? We just pass. I guess we're arsenaling the King Shark just for now. So this is fine. We're not getting a ponder token, so I guess we are arsenaling the Bolden shot. Right. Yep. Because for some reason I thought we were on Codex or something. All right, we got another King Kraken and then a CNC. I feel like I like the CNC more than the King Kraken right now, so I feel like maybe leaving that on top is fine. We do have a lot of gold also to start using, so I kind of don't mind keeping that. And then we'll fire off the King Shark. We're getting a little bit greedy with our hook here, but they haven't shown us a D-React yet, and I feel like if I get them to block with any amount of armor, I'm probably fine with that. So I'd say all in all, this is pretty good. Again, I'm kind of missing some of the 0 for 3 buffs. Which would give us a little bit more extra value on here, but like we've been drawing kind of fine. I can't complain about double 3 oak plus Codex draw. All right, blocking with Ancestral Harmony is interesting. So I'm curious why they maybe didn't block with an attack, but maybe they just want to show us this. So the funny thing about Be Like Water is like we actually kind of don't care about it, right? Like I'd almost rather take the pitch card just so they're doing like 0 for 3 and a 0 for 4. Because they can't really pay for this, right? So I feel like it makes the most amount of sense to just take the Descendant here. Alright, we're sitting on a fat stack of gold, so we might be going to start ripping it some point. Tipple's also quite nice. Oh, they're pitching to Edge of Autumn. Interesting. Where? I guess... Oh, they have Seek Vengeance. Okay, I guess... So this actually... I guess they're getting like an additional point of value, assuming that I don't block the Seek Vengeance here if they want to like Okana. Which I feel like I'm just fine letting happen. They discard a Fluster. What do they get? I don't think there's anything better than a Fluster they can realistically go for here. So I guess it doesn't really make sense to block. We are going to have Bolton Shot with Go again. I guess they could like mass something. But even then, is that doing very much? I don't know. I'd say this is pretty good, though. I feel like maybe we're actually just like blocking with the CNC here because they don't have an arsenal. And then we're just going to like tipple something. Maybe crack a bunch of gold. This seems good. No complaints from me. We do just have to be careful of just like blowing up on one turn because they are still with all equipment at this point. All right, we'll start with the tipple. I guess we should probably start with the Bolton Shot. I guess it doesn't really matter, right? We'll Sea Lace first. Give the Bolton Shot go again. Go a little bit wider. Oh, hello, Enzo. Welcome, welcome. We're playing some boats, Marlynn, or whatever that means. I feel like this is not even necessarily a boat stack, but this is kind of just a very less focused on like the 0 for 3, 2 block kind of like ranger pumps, and instead trying to do like a value game with tipple. So this is from I think Clement Lubier. I might be saying that wrong. I cannot pronounce that, but yeah, this is like a list from the Pro Tour Singapore. Seemed like there was Marlynn like the top 70, so I wanted to give this list a chance for a while. Howdy, Carrie. How's it going? So yeah, wanted to try Boats Marlynn out, see if there's anything kind of behind that. And yeah, we're gonna go for the tipple. We should actually, gold bait hook the tipple first. So close chain, gold bait hook the tipple. Play it out. Discard the Goldfin Harpoon. Find the Conqueror. If I want to play against Florian versus Riptide, I don't know if Marlyn necessarily needs that, but if you want to do a game carry, we can totally do that.
We should do a Ranger battle.
We should do a Ranger battle.
Yeah, do Marlyn versus Riptide.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
I am
watching. Yeah, if you want to do a Marlyn versus Riptide battle, we can totally do that. All right, Tarpit Trap, not very exciting. I think we're just gonna keep drawing until we find some blues, or not. Okay. Do we want to go any deeper, or are we fine just setting out a King Shark for 6? Yeah, I guess we whiffed, right? Yeah, so we should just King Shark now. I guess that was maybe a little bit greedy. I don't know. Yeah, this matchup is pretty swingy. I feel like it's not that bad though, like, at least from the Marlins perspective. I don't know. I feel like I'm a lot more comfortable with like the 0 for 3 pump list than like the Pirate Focus list. But it's pretty likely this King Shark will actually hit something here. Unless they have like an attack react or okay, they do have attack react, that's fine. Alright, 4 card, Katsu hand. Unfortunately we whiffed on our gold cracking, but that's fine. Alright, next hand's good. Alright, so starting with an edge. I do like to see Surging Strike. Okay, so this is interesting. They're not going for the cross wrap and instead pitching the Surging Strike. So what does that mean about their hand? It could mean that... What does that mean? Actually, how's that? I'm trying to think of a hand where that's actually correct. I guess they have Empowerment in hand. We know that. We know they have 2 other unknown cards in hand. They have Descendant. Huh. So why did we not go for Cross Drought? Because they have like Surging Descendant here, and I'm assuming that if they have any number of 0 costs in their hands, that ends up being pretty good. So we know they have the Empowerment still. Oh, no follow-up Gust Wave? Well, I think they had the Descendant maybe. Let's try... Yeah, yeah. I actually think we should probably overblock this a bit. Maybe just like give up the Sea Lice here. We probably don't need it, and I just kind of want to like block out to prevent them from tutoring. Maybe they just have like the Natty Bonds or something. But I kind of don't mind this block if we know they're sitting on Empowerment and we know that they have Okana. I think this is fine. I just want to slow them down more than anything, or like prevent them from just doing something here. Yeah, so I guess... Okay, they have Legacy 2. That's pretty good. Alright, unfortunately, could not block 3, but that's fine. Okay, so they're gonna probably be doing a bit of damage to us this turn. But at least the nice thing is that they don't have a Bonds in graveyard yet. So they can't do like a double Bonds turn. They're only on 4 cards. They haven't used Carton Cross Trap. Like, I feel like this is actually kind of fine for us. Yeah, I don't mind this at all. And then we're just going to hit them with another King Shark, which will probably just kill them. I guess they don't die on board, right? They can block 3, go to 4. Alright, Dishonor is scary. So that means they have a Bonds in hand now? Interesting. Or they're going to tutor Bonds. Okay, that makes more sense. Oh, so the question is, I guess, is like how bad is it to lose Marlyn's hero ability? It's pretty bad, right? But we could just like kill them anyways. Maybe we don't actually need Marlyn's hero ability to win this game. The Bonds is also interesting. I guess they can like Breeze Rider too. And that would make them go a little bit wider, but them getting Dishonor means that they have Bonds or they're tutoring for Bonds right now. And then the Bonds is going to have to get something as well, right? Which can't be Bonds, so... Huh, this is going to be interesting. They don't have a Retrace also, so there's no Retrace shenanigans. I think this is fine. Yeah, I'm curious to see what their line is here. I feel like there was maybe a better line of like Surging Descendant. The Surgic pitch was interesting to me, I guess. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I hope you're not or I hope you saw, I guess, on the Zen documentary. I think we actually had one of your clips in the doc. It was pretty funny. We took a lot of clips from, I guess, like the days when like MST was releasing, and we put that together. It was pretty funny. I feel like there's a lot of people that were wrong about bonds or wrong about Zen in general, myself included. So it's always funny looking back on that stuff. All right, so they're getting bond. So they gotta wait. How are they paying? I guess they can harden cross trap the Descendant. Getting 100 wins. All right, I don't know what's going on here. We're off the deep end. So I feel like at this point we just don't care about Dishonor, right? We're just gonna ignore it, pretend like it doesn't exist. Yeah, this is like a weird turn. Yeah, I mean, everyone thought like Zen looks bad. It was hilarious. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think anyone necessarily got that right, especially when you're like looking on release.
I thought he was broken.
Well, okay, like you thought he was broken after you saw me do like 50 damage turns with him.
No, I saw that he could tutor things, and I was like, oh damn.
All right, well, Tegan's a Kano person, so I guess that makes sense. I don't know. I was wrong about. I fully admit I was wrong about Zen. I bought the deck because I thought it would be a funny Tiger deck to like I wouldn't have to like buy another deck at some point. Okay, so now they're past the point of dishonoring. All right, so now we like especially do not care about Dishonor, right? Or no, it's still gonna have the on hit. It's just gonna be 2. Yeah, this is I feel like there might have been a better turn here, but that's okay. Everyone's learning, you know. Yeah, I think maybe they so oh, this doesn't have the on. Wait, why does this? Oh, because they didn't play Searching Strike, right? For some reason, I thought they had a Searching Strike. Okay, it's been a long term. Okay, that's fine. I guess we never had to worry about Dishonor to begin with. Yeah, this is a little bit of a learning experience. That's okay though. I feel like whoops. I guess we should also take the learning experience here and activate the Hammerhead first. All right. Let's grab a King Shark and just fire it off. I mean, we might as well just slap the gold beta hook on it. I don't think it really matters. I feel like at this point we have enough gold for the entire game. Yeah, you gotta, especially on Katsu. Like, there are turns as Katsu where you can like afford to kind of like go off the Okana Scar wraps. Like he really doesn't need it like turn to turn, especially like this turn, right? He has a frailty token. Like there are a lot of ways to get it back just with all the vengeance cards. So sometimes it does make sense to like flick it and just like lose it for a bit. I'd say we're pretty likely to hit here unless they have react on top of this. Okay, this is good. So King Shark. Doesn't matter. I guess we'll take the Seek Vengeance just in case they want to just send that by itself. Alright, get a port side. Pretty good arsenal. CNCs have been a little lackluster. Not gonna lie. Alright, yeah, seems like they're off it. That makes sense. Alright, so yeah, that was the first game. Let's actually do kind of like the deck tech. So I was kind of mainly doing the game just to wait for like some amount of people to get in. So this is the deck I want to be playing today, and this is kind of a modified version of Clement Lubuyer's Pro Tour Singapore list. Again, if I'm pronouncing that wrong, my apologies. Also, so this list is basically, at least kind of like the theory behind this Marlynn list is a lot of these 0 for 3 pumps are very risky, like especially when you kind of like go to like no cards in, like if you have to like block anything, you go to no cards in hand. So the idea with this list is basically to distribute your damage between Gogan attacks, like with pirate cards, so like the Saltwater Swallows, the Golden Tipples, stuff like that, and have like more Gogan, and then end the turn on basically like a big arrow. So like basically what you want to be doing is like sending Tipples start your turn, and then like ending the turn on like a King Shark, King Kraken, whatever. So that's at least I think the theory behind this list is that you want to have like a bit more go wide stuff, especially with like Gravy running around. And the 0 for 3 pumps, there's a bit of like risk involved, right? Because if you end up having to block with any number of cards, the 0 for 3 pumps kind of like go down a bit in value. So I think that's like the leading theory behind this list. I think this is a little bit different from kind of like the normal style of Marlin list. Actually, let me make this a little bit bigger just so folks can see. But yeah, I think this is like a little bit different from kind of like at least the style of Marlin list that I've played on the channel before, where we're going like a bit more tall on arrows. So instead we're going to be going a bit wider on the combat chain and then kind of ending on just a kind of crappy like 0 for 10 arrow. But I think that's like the core theory of this list is that you just have a lot of extra value here, and then you are going a little bit less tall, but you're going a bit wider. At least that's kind of what I get from this. So this is going to be the list we're going to play. So I've modified this list slightly from the original Pro Tour list, which we'll kind of talk about here. So I think this original list, which I think there's actually, we might even just try this for a game or two and see how that goes. But there's, I think, like this kind of like prismatic ley line package, I guess, with like the saltwater swells and I guess like some of this. So I kind of basically cut a little bit down on that. I basically just like changed one of these yellow swells to a red swell, cut the prismatic ley line, and then just kind of like fiddle with the blues a little bit. That's kind of like the core change, at least between this version of the deck and my version of the deck. Now, we might give this a try and just see if there's anything behind the prismatic ley line. I'm a little critical of this card, you could say. I've never really had it be very impressive, but we can give that a try as well. So anyways, that's going to be the deck list for today. We're going to try it out, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So first game done, pretty solid. Yeah, that's kind of like my theory behind Prismatic Ley Line 2 is I think it's just like a little bit too cute, but I think that there is like some theory behind the deck where it's like you want to be just like going a bit wider because like overpower is functionally useless, right? Like you basically get yeah, I do love 0 for 6 unconditional yellows. Those are pretty good though. But I think that like the theory behind this deck is sound, right? You basically just want to distribute your threats as opposed to like going all in on an arrow that's not going to hit. So, yeah, let's go ahead and load up another game. Let's see how it goes. All right, let's grab this here. All right, playing against a Victor. I actually don't think Victor's like all that bad of a matchup, especially with kind of like the more like pump style Marlin list. Against this Victor, do we just want to run the main board though? I feel like the King Krakens maybe are a little bit underwhelming to Victor, although you can snipe like a Visit the Gold Main Estate. Maybe we'll try something like Riches plus like 2 take covers and see how that works for us. I could see something like that being right. Let's try it. So they're going first, we're going second. Seems fine. Again, yeah, I don't know if this is a good or bad matchup. Oh yeah, Carrie, did you want to do a game? We can do one after this. Just maybe send the link to Tegan and we can work it out. All right, pack perfect. Whenever a card defends this clash with the defending hero, the winner destroys the top card of the other hero's deck. Okay, seems fine. So we might be getting clashed with a bit here. So is this the fabled Fatigue Victor? I think we are still just like blocking 9 on this. Like I feel like our life total is more important than our deck size at this point. Send me or Tegan a link, I guess, or just like put it in our group chat or whatever. I forgot. All right, we lose a 3 oak, that's rough. We lose a Sunken Treasure, that's fine. We lose an Infecting Shot. Okay, so losing the 3 oak, a little bit painful, but not the end of the world there. Maybe there was even merit to like not maybe like keeping a Conqueror and blocking with a Codex. But Codex can always get back Conqueror, so maybe it's not that bad. I think this is fine. Obviously lost every single clash, so we're like down a couple cards in deck, but I'd say that's not too bad. So I kind of want to start the turn by just like pitching the gold. Is that good? I don't know if that is good. We could also like overpitch, get an arrow, and like Codex, but the only arrow we have is Infecting. What is the alternate play? I guess we can like Codex, send Conquer, discard Conquer. This is not a very exciting hand, I feel like. Yeah, I actually don't know what the play is here. Maybe cracking a gold is like fine. Let's, I guess, I think I'm just gonna take the loss on this turn and just like get a Conqueror, discard a Conqueror. We are going down in terms of like threats a little bit, which is scary, but we are like forcing an arsenal, so maybe it's not that bad. Yeah, this hand does kind of suck. I agree with you, Carrie. Kind of also sucks to like lose all of our conquerors, but I guess we can get it back with codexes eventually. And yeah, this is kind of like the floor of one of these kind of like boat Marlin hands. It's just like send 7, be sad, I guess. Like I think this hand would be a lot more exciting if we had like a swell or something. But I feel like that's why like Conqueror in general has been going down in terms of popularity in Marlin lists, is just because like it's so cost intensive, and like people, the way people are boarding, you bring in all your Durex against Marlin because of overpower, right? So like does this card actually like help against that? Not really. Like it's basically just an 8 for 4 go again that like maybe sometimes once in a blue moon kind of threatens an arsenal. But besides that, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of whatever. Yeah, that's kind of true. Um, we do like, maybe it's actually good here, and maybe we force out a little bit of armor. But I guess it like ultimately depends on what the arsenal. Okay, so maybe this is actually not that bad. It's probably like the best case scenario, right? Is that we get this, and then what did they get back with the I not see. They chose Peck Perfect, so they get back another one. Okay, that's not that bad. So I think we're just ignoring the Peck Perfect, I imagine. I guess we like take cover it as well. So coming in with this, whenever a card defends this, so I think this also counts defense reactions, right? Because even though it's not in defense step, you're technically defending with it. So it looks like we're probably going to be losing another clash, which is fine. But we get to reload a King Shark and then just Arsenal 3 up for next turn. So could be worse. Yeah, I think it's fine. So we reload here, put the King Shark in Arsenal, lose a Sunken Treasure. Not the end of the world. I think we do have to be a little bit cognizant of fatigue at this point. I feel like I'm not supposed to be slapping the gold beta hook on everything yet. I think we'll just force through. Maybe just force out a bit more armor. Maybe get a block card here or something. Don't think there's any real reason to like start just like randomly throwing our hook away. Oh, thank you for sending me that, Carrie. Sorry, I was mixed on the instructions there. It was a long day at work, so my bad. All right, so it's kind of interesting. I feel like I've not seen a ton of Peck Perfect in Victor. At least it seems pretty good. At least on turn 0, like functionally get me 6 cards out of deck. Pretty good. I feel like this might just be better off as like a Spinal though. I don't know. It's like not that bad though. All right, we get to hit with the King Shark. Fantastic. So I think the actual play is to just take the choke slam here, right? Because like we kind of do care about that effect, and like maybe just heave a Thunderquake pass or something. Seems good. Ooh, we got the Saltwater Swell. This could be pretty good if we can hit off this. Maybe we get to then use like Porcelain Exchange as an extra blue. We're going to be drawing a lot of cards this turn, which is at least nice. I guess the question is, are we going to be drawing into any threats? All right, so I think we definitely do want to block at least some amount here. Probably just block with the Elfin. Oh, they also have the Miller's Grindstone, which is kind of annoying. I still don't think we can care, or like we can afford to care about the on-hit though. All right, so you get another swell out of this. Oh, this is like a full-on Clash deck. Wonder if they're running the Grind them card. I forget what that one's called. All right, so I think we're going to start with the swell. Maybe we're going to actually use Tunic here in case we hit a blue, so that way we can like Porcelain Exchange. Kind of don't mind that. So let's start by pulling Tunic. We might not like need the Tunic this turn, but I think it's still fine. All right, hit a blue, fantastic. All right, already off to a great start. All right, when this defends with the Clash hero, the winner destroys an aura, the other hero. Okay, so we don't have any auras. Oh, and we whiffed, or we got the Clash. That's pretty sick. So we could theoretically threaten their Seismic Surge. All right, seems like they wanted to. They really used a gold to reroll. Okay, interesting. We're kind of off the deep end today. So let's close chain Marlin, discard this, and then depending on what we draw, we're probably just going to either pitch the card we draw or pitch the Bluefin Harpoon. All right, draw a Yellowfin Harpoon. That's fine. And I guess we're just going to 3-oak. I guess this kind of makes sense. All right, lots of tipples and a CNC. They don't have an arsenal, right? So CNC is not very good right now. I guess it's just Bluefin, right? Yep, so we're going to load the Bluefin. Pass, pass. Probably pitch away the CNC, honestly. Actually, maybe we want to hold the tipple as opposed to the Yellowfin. So let's pitch away CNC and then the Yellowfin and like arsenal a tipple. Maybe that makes more sense. Then we've not made a gold this turn. Oh no, we have made a gold this turn because of the port side, right? Yep, so we get free hook, which is nice. That's the one nice thing about this deck is that you end up getting a lot of free hooks. Yeah, but this is a pretty good turn. I guess, like, all in all, we're still just sending 11 damage after doing all that, but if you look at it from a very small lens, we have a pretty good turn here. I think there are some good ideas here, though. Like, Swell is a pretty good high roll card. It's just like, I don't know, especially when you're not running like Skullbone Crosswrap, like the odds of this card hitting are essentially, it's basically a 50-50 every time you cast it, so it's hard to like sculpt your turn around it a lot of the time. Yeah, I did get to use a lot of cards to do 11 damage. Ooh, and we hit 2 Cranial Crushes, also nice. I guess we knew about one of those Cranial Crushes from the Clash, right? Yep, and I think we'll just pass back. Arsenal the Yellow Tipple doesn't really matter a ton. Interesting. Got like a gravy hand kind of going on here. So I think they're still angling for fatigue somehow. Which is interesting. Like, are we supposed to like actually start caring about fatigue? I don't know that we are. I feel like we're still just like maybe block with the Yellowfin Harpoon and then just going to use Eye to try to draw a better arrow here. I feel like I'm still not caring about fatigue. Alright, data CNC. That's fine. And let's start with the Marlin. And then we also have a yellow tipple if we want to like discard it to the blue is also another option. Let's, I guess, do we want to put the gold-braided hook on this or on the tipple? Yeah, I think we have enough cards for now. I'm like a little bit concerned. We're almost getting to half the deck. So I guess the question is, do we want to put the gold-braided hook on the tipple or do we want to try to put it on something else? I guess we are not guaranteed to get anything else to put it on, so we might as well do it now. All right, 2 hamstring shots. I feel like I'd rather just draw like anything else. So I feel like we're just going to bottom those. All right, Murderous Rebel could be okay. Might honestly just be cracking some gold here to find a better threat. All right, another Clash of Bravado. Also fine. So I think we double bottomed, we drew the Murderous Rabble. What's like our red blue count at this point? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I feel like it's pretty likely that this actually whiffs. Yeah, but let's try it. And it hit anyways. Nice. Alright, apparently we had 3 hamstring shots all in a row. Or I guess not all in a row. We drew the Murderous Rabble. Kind of interesting though. Test of Iron Grip. Scary. Probably gonna lose that one. Alright, so now we just draw the hamstring. But then we also need to find like some new card to play afterwards. Not super exciting. I guess we don't have to find a new card. We can just tipple. Or like pitch the tipple to play the hamstring. I feel like that's not even that good. I guess maybe we're just like supposed to arsenal this. Could also like quiver, get it, send it. I feel like I just like arsenaling tipple now, maybe. Maybe we should have kept the yellow one in that case. I didn't really think that through. Maybe the yellow one was a little bit better. Alright, coming in with another Miller's. God, do we really have to start caring about this? This is so sad. I like literally all they're doing is like just sending Millers every turn. So like maybe we're supposed to like actually give the gold baited hook, but it feels so bad. I feel like I'm just gonna keep blocking 3 and losing my deck. Alright, force exchange, whatever. That's fine. Alright, so let's start with the gold. And then Tipple, I guess, makes sense. Alright, draw a Rabble. Alright, I think we're almost at the point where we have to start worrying about fatigue. Because I feel like that's kind of like their main game plan, it seems like. It seems like they're not even like a pummel deck. It seems like they're just kind of like a clash and mill you out kind of deck. Do we want to Murderous now? I mean, we might as well, right? Alright, we get on both our Murderous, which is at least some comfort. So what do you have for threats? We have that, so we pitched a Codex early. We have one more 3-Oak live and then 2 more Codexes live. Alright, unfortunate. I'm probably gonna lose this one. Yup. So I guess we're just sending in the hamstring for 3 now. Big sad. Maybe it was greedy to play the Murderous there, but like if they block the test on it, then we're still losing the Murderous. I don't know. This is a hell of a card. We'll say that. I feel like Test of Iron Grip is interesting. I don't know. I feel like Victor didn't necessarily need a ton more support. I mean, like, I kind of wish that some of like the Mastery Pack Guardian stuff was for like other Guardians, but is what it is. Alright, this hand's not bad. Alright, so if they send Miller's like one more time here, I think I'm just gonna block 4 on it because I'm sick of this card. I feel like we're eventually at the point where we're gonna have to start respecting this. Are we gonna block? No. Alright, this is like the last time that I'm not gonna block the Millers. Yeah. Okay, so this actually brings me to like a topic. Like, I think I don't like Clash as a mechanic. Just like flat out. I think it's I kind of think it's just a boring mechanic. I don't know, like it's good that like Guardian has powerful things to do, but like I feel like this card is either it hits every time or it doesn't hit every time. And I don't like either modes of the card. Yep, we're boated with the sauce right now. Okay. Pulling, I guess what do we want to start with? Do we want to start cracking some gold or do we want to just like 3-Oak here? I feel like the 3-Oak's probably fine. Alright, draw Swell. Okay, this is actually fine. We draw our Riches too. So we've got the infinite combo if we can just keep a bunch of blues. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, I think in limited it's fine because it's like, oh, you get like this random effect or pseudo random effect. Oh, actually, sorry, we should have gold baited hook there. That's my bad. But yeah, like I feel like Clash is just not a very interesting mechanic to me. Like it just is either guaranteed or RNG, and I don't think, I don't know. It'd be a lot more interesting if it was like you choose a card from your hand because then you can like, I don't know, maybe you choose like maybe you don't have like a high power attack in hand, and your opponent has like a 6 attack in hand, and then there's like maybe some hidden information type of thing or something like. Maybe I clashed with like a King Shark Harpoon, right? And you clashed with like a random blue 6, and I somehow tie the clash. Like that to me is a little bit more interesting than just like what is the top of my deck? Who knows? That kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. Speaking of bad mechanics, let's talk about Overpower. Is also another one of my least favorite mechanics. What else? I guess like I don't actually mind Crush all that much. Like Crush is like kind of just like Guardian Surge, but it's whatever. I don't know. Clash is like not one I'm like huge on. Alright, we finally did not get destroyed by a Clash. That's nice. So might get their Aura Mages sacked here. Okay, seems like they're not going to go for that though. Alright, so we get to take a Macho, I guess. Alright, this is going well. We have 7 golds. We're basically doing a Gravy cosplay. All right, we can finally block the breakpoint on this stupid error. Oh, this is so bad. It might not even be right to do that. Like maybe we actually just want to suck in. No, Sunken's probably we can probably save that, right? Let's go ahead and just take cover. All right, we get to block the stupid breakpoint. All right, we're almost at the point where we like actually need to start caring about that hammer. Let's start with the swell, I guess, and just inform what the top priority deck is. It's a yellow tipple. That's fine. So I feel like we're gonna start cracking some gold this turn finally. Yeah, T and I played our first Mastery Pack Guardian game. When was it? It was this weekend, right?
Yeah.
I won a bunch of prize packs from my Blitz skirmish, which was fun. But yeah, I feel like I don't know. I was not crazy about that limited format either. I feel like a lot of people have expressed a similar kind of opinion. Oh, we should hook this. Sorry, I keep forgetting my hook today. I need to like pound that into my brain a bit. All right, discard the Goldfin. It's still no good arrows. We still have like 2 codexes in the deck, right? So you just need 1 codex or something to play. So I think we're just going to keep cracking gold here and not load the Bolton Shot. Yeah, Clash is one I'm not crazy about. What other mechanics am I not crazy about? Yeah, that's also another thing that I think was like I think there's some interesting stat lines in the cards that they released in the set, but like most of the cards in the Guardian or like the Master Pack Guardians set are just like stats, right? Which is not very exciting. Yeah. Spectra is definitely one of the mechanics of all time. All right, another red tipple. I think we just need to keep going deeper. Yeah, the Guardian, like they nailed it on the art. Absolutely, 100% agree with the Guardian art. All right, I keep drawing cards, but our hand's not getting any better. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like the Guardian, the art on the Guardian cards is like really cool. The effect on the Guardian cards is like whatever. All right, this is the last gold we're cracking here. All right, we drew a King Shark. Thank God. All right, and then do we want to go 1 deeper? If we go 1 deeper, we get to keep an arsenal potentially. Let's do 1 more. 1 more just for good luck. Okay, perfect. So now we can pull Tunic. Wait, do we not? Oh, sorry. Did I pass too quickly? Oh, whoops. Okay. Pass on this. For some reason that passed. I feel like it shouldn't have. Okay. That's fine, though. King Shark. Send it in. Yeah, aim counters I also wanted to be pretty cool. But I feel like, I don't know, there's just like a lot you need to do to make aim counters work. This is a scary victor list, though. Just like mill you out. Kind of terrifying. Alright, we found a Codex too, which is nice. So we got some good turns at least coming up. But we are getting our King Shark Harpoon blocked out. Still got enough gold to work with, though. Alright, so anyways, we sacked like 6 gold and did not get anywhere. Which I feel like is like the difference between this deck and Gravy. Miller's Grindstone again coming in. We're losing to a weapon. That's so sad. Yeah, that's true. I feel like the arrows in general in this game are just like pretty bad as of now. Can we actually do like a double codex thing here? If we hammerhead, I don't think there's a way to do double codex, right? We'd have to jump through a couple, like we'd have to discard a Goldfin, do stuff. I feel like that's not very exciting. Okay, so I think here we're just gonna finally concede to giving our gold baited hook on this. This is so sad. We're like actually losing to Miller's Grindstone, which is embarrassing. All right, so let's crack. Start with Tipple. Do we want to put the gold on the tipple, though? I feel like we'd actually rather put it on the arrow we're going to get. So we'll pitch a codex. Oh, whoops. Sorry. You need to discard the goldfin harpoon there. All right, so unfortunately, because of the one floating here, it's a little bit awkward. So we could load, I guess, Bulge. No, that doesn't work. I think we just pass on load, and then we have to, like, sack this gold now. All right, Trounce is fine. Oh, we win? Nice. They are sitting on 2 gold, though. So they can easily reroll that. Yep, seems good. Yeah, so now we have to pitch a gold. We'll still be at, like, 2 resources. Is there a way to, like, make this better? I feel like the breakpoints here are just like, or like the resource breakpoints are really awkward. So we crack a gold, we have go to 1 floating. If we draw another blue, the 1 floating will also ruin our hammerhead. So maybe cracking the gold is there any way to actually get around this? Maybe actually the correct play was to load the red fin there, right? Maybe we're like not supposed to send codex there? Is that right? I don't know. Does cracking a gold actually help? I guess is the question. No, we go to 2 resources floating. Does that help? Also, maybe. Whatever. We'll crack a gold, see what happens. All right, draw a blue tipple. Can load this in, and we're still 1 off. I guess we're just supposed to not send it then. Yeah, this is super awkward. I feel like the codexes being right next to each other also not super helpful. I guess we should probably put the gold braid hook on this. All right, promise opponent, I will not undo one more time. Yeah, but this is awkward. I feel like we're absolutely going to get fatigued out here. We need our codexes to line up just a little bit better than they are. If we can hit with this, though, that would be pretty big, assuming that they have something in hand. I think we're running out of threats very quickly, though. Was the correct play to, like, just take the Peck Perfect on turn 0? It might have been. We milled a 3 oak, a Conqueror, and, like, a random blue. Hey, we got a gold. Let's go. Sick. We're gonna get another gold here, also, which is nice. Or we get to steal one of theirs. Redfin. Alright, they have Golden Sun, which they're gonna throw at us, which we actually don't really care about all that much. Maybe we can actually pull this one out. So let's put the codex first, and then do blue, blue, then the codex on the bottom. So I imagine their play is just going to be Golden Sun this turn, unless they want to try to exclusively kill me with the hammer, which maybe is also a valuable option. I feel like my play is going to be like block 6, send 6, or maybe like block 3, send 3. They are absolutely just trying to kill me with the hammer. This is a shame. I guess the hammer's coming in for 6 now, so we can at least block it. But otherwise, this feels quite disrespectful. So they're going to just block out the CNC, but that's fine. So you have a Redfin on top. Did we already use 3 oaks? Yeah, we did. So what other ways do we have to load? I guess just gold. I guess the question is, like, do we want either of these? Like, maybe the Redfin's actually fine. Oh, we got a network error. Alright. Sure. This is fine. I think I hopefully opted that correctly. It seemed like the Tile Shark kind of shit out a little bit there. We do at least have the Riches loop, for what that's worth. Oh my god, they're just gonna kill me with hammer. Oh boy, this is sad. I feel like I need them to, like, just whip one time on hammer. Hey, we whiffed one time on hammers. Now they have to sack a gold at least. One time? Oh. Alright. We lost a tipple. Pretty rough. So now crack a gold. We at least get the infinite gold off the riches here. Can't say I like our odds very much though. I guess we're gonna just try to get the max value out of these bluefins. And we do get a free hook, at least. But yeah, I think Fatigue Victor might just be a little too strong for us here. What other fatigue cards do we think they're running? Oh, Testo Iron Grip's a good one. Yep. So we could actually pitch to the quiver here just to keep this in the deck. I kind of like that play. It's kind of funny. That's a pro Marlynn play right there. And now we just have a drill shot stuck in our arsenal. Oh, that's funny. Drill shot in arsenal's not even that bad. We probably should have ordered the riches closer to the top, but I feel like I'm kind of just dead this game. We'll see what they got, though. Probably just hammer, right? There it goes. Oh, it's so sad. Yeah, now I have to play drill shot is the worst part. I say like tipple, though. So maybe it's not that bad. Or I guess maybe our play is to just like tunic arsenal the Bolton shot or something. We've like definitely lost this game though. I guess we can try to hit them with the infinite goldfin harpoon, but I don't know how well that actually works against someone other than the Talishar practice dummy. I guess we can like arsenal the Bolton shot face down, which would at least give that go again. All right, go drill shot. You can do it. All right, let's see if the Marlynn infinite combo will get us there. I have my doubts. All right, arsenal the Bolton shots. We do have codexes still, I guess. All right, there's the cleansing. Seems pretty good. So we're gonna lose like one of the top 5 again. Brutal. We can't even block this. I mean, we can block this, but like there's no good way to block it. If we had the gold bait hook, I guess we could have like thrown an additional one on top of it, but I feel like as is, it doesn't matter. And I guess if we do that, then we can't use our Sea Lace. So yeah, I think they're just taking another card of our deck. Seems pretty good. We've also like not dealt any more damage to them. I feel like this is why I like the Pump Marlin strategy a little bit more, just because like you don't lose to this, right? It feels like what we're doing is just like so easy to block. But this is at least good. We get to Bolton Shot, do some stuff. We do need to keep some number of cards in deck just for blocking crush effects and then sending the Goldfin Harpoons. Alright, seems like they gotta think on the card here. Alright, banishing a Bluefin Harpoon. Would have liked to keep that one, but not the end of the world, I guess. We do at least get Codex back. So what do they get? They can get back a CNC. Also pretty rough. Alright, Clash, that's fine. And then load. Codex. I think we can actually wait. Is this our pitch stack? Wait, how does this work? Put the rest on top of the deck in any order. So this is I guess they know now the top of our deck. So they could have ordered it so that we're not going to be drawing Codex off of Codex. But I think if they didn't have the chance to reorder there, we actually would have pondered into another Codex, right? Because I think this was our stack. Could have been interesting. At the very least, whatever they get back, they're not going to be able to play this turn, presumably. I still have a lot of good cards left, though. All right, we're getting the Peck Perfect back. Seems pretty good. All right, go King Shark. Go get him. All right, take a Debilitate. I guess we care about a little bit more. All right, Eyes Funny. Skip the Arsenal. Okay, and then the Grindstone's coming in for 3. We did it! Yay! We get a Grindstone for 3 instead of 4. Wait, are we actually gonna win this game? I'm not gonna get my hopes up. So we want to draw the Redfin. We're gonna ponder the Redfin, right? And then we draw the Riches. Still don't think we're winning this game, but I'm gonna pretend like there is a chance. So let's get the King Shark. Gold Bait Hook. We didn't make a goal this turn, but I feel like it's pretty likely we will anyways. Maybe we shouldn't have hooked that. Actually, yeah, we probably shouldn't have hooked that, but that's fine. We get blown out. That's not the end of the world. I guess, like, what do they even have left to block? They'd need, like, the Test of Strength and the Trounce. All right, they have the Trounce. Maybe that actually wasn't a bad gold-baited hook. All right, so they revealed the Riches. They put that on the bottom. Or no, they revealed the Redfin. So now we're pondering into the Riches. Okay, a little unfortunate there, but that's fine. At least we get King Shark to hit. And if we can take a blue out of their hand, okay, it seems like their hand's all blue, so they're just gonna swing with the Peck Perfect. So I think this is actually fine. I guess we care most about what here? I guess disable, theoretically. Then Eye on top, pass. So they do get to Aftershock here. Maybe we actually shouldn't have taken the I almost assumed that they were gonna Peck Perfect, but I guess maybe that's still justified now. Alright, so we're taking 10 here. We can't block with anything, obviously. And then what's our play? Are we gonna just are we sending the Elephant, or are we gonna start cracking gold, or are we gonna start sending Harpoons? I feel like the Harpoons might actually be better. We're gonna say no blocks on this. I'm gonna save our blocks for something more impactful, I think, because we're getting down to deck damage at this point. So let's Marlynn. We're not discarding this Goldfin Harpoon. Instead, we're gonna crack a gold to load. And then maybe we're gonna load the Redfin end of turn, and then like IP with the port side. I think this seems fine. Could have also played the Tipple for 1, but I feel like it's actually probably better to just have it as a block card at this point. Because now we're getting into the point of the game where we're just gonna send the Goldfin every turn. So yeah, I think this is fine. Actually, we should have, sorry, we should gold baited hook this, obviously. One of these days, I'm not going to undo that. Yeah, but folks in the chat, tell me what your favorite of these bad Guardian cards is. We're actually getting, like, rolled by these bad Guardian cards, so maybe they're not that bad, but I feel like they're pretty bad. Alright, we got a visit out of them. That's pretty sweet. Alright, maybe we're actually kind of fine. So we want to draw the Riches as soon as possible. And then Yellowfin, I guess. Doesn't really matter a ton. Yeah, I feel like this card is like actually just really good. It's kind of weird because what I've seen, at least from most Victor lists I played into recently, is that they're playing all 9 of the Clash cards. Yeah, Peck Perfect is a lot of fun. I do agree. It kind of actually like wrecked us in the beginning of the game a bit, or at least made it a little bit harder. So we can give the Redfin go again. So I think we're supposed to take this again just because we're running out of deck at this point. So yeah, I think we're racing. So I think our plan is to give this go again and then load a Goldfin and send that at them. It's kind of weird, but I think it's fine. Do this. I guess we get to ops as well. bottom that, top that. I don't think it matters very much. Oh yeah, I guess we only have 2 cards left in deck anyways, right? So we start with the Redfin with Go again. So I feel like we might actually just win on the back of Overpower here. Oh, we beat Milvictor, maybe. This is insane. I did not think we were actually going to win. I thought we were going to deck. So what do they have left that they can actually block with? Assuming that they're not running any D reacts, which I doubt. They have 1 test of strength left. Alright, all blues in hand. Cranial is definitely annoying. But we're going to force them to not play Cranial. Close chain. Then we crack a gold. We actually send a Redfin at them again, which would have Overpower as well. But that doesn't do anything, right? So I feel like maybe just sending 2 Overpower is the same as 4. Yeah, that's right. Does the Elephant Harpoon help? I don't think so, right? So I think we're just loading this, sending this, arsenaling this. I guess we could have thrown the gold-rated hook on that, but it doesn't really matter. But yeah, Peck Perfect is a lot of fun. I think that card's really cool. Alright, this is a very interesting endgame scenario we've arrived at here. I feel like we're winning, though. They're just going to do this to cycle. Alright, making a seismic and then just hammer, I assume. Alright, hammer seems good. Yeah, I think I got it. So I guess in this case, do we like lose if we block with Sea Lace plus this? So we block here. I feel like we block like this, right? And then we just just full send it in Arsenal a thing. Tunic, I don't know, because Tunic doesn't help us with like breakpoints, right? I guess we could like give Tunic plus, or actually maybe Tunic plus 3 block. Is that better? Yeah, I think we just want to cover this, I think is the plan. So the question is whether it's 3 block plus Tunic versus 2 block plus Sea Lace. I think it's better to do for like this, maybe slightly better. I don't know if the Tunic's actually going to help us all that much. I think this is fine though. So we pump. Want to pump with the riches. I guess we don't get Goga on this, so we should make our harpoon fire. So I think if they have the last test of strength, they go to 1. And then if they don't have the test of strength, they die. Alright, I was not expecting to win that game. I guess we somehow managed our fatigue pretty well. I guess they were just running all block cards and then hoping to mill us out. Yeah, that was actually kind of a crazy game. Maybe I was dooming too much in the beginning of that game. It is pretty strong just sending 6 every turn with your hammerhead. So yeah, that was pretty crazy. All right, Gary, you want to load up? Let's play. Let's see how you do against the boats, Marlin. All right, let me do this game. Oh, am I using the wrong one? Let me check. Hold on. Let me click your link again. Oh, there we go. All right, first or second into Riptide? It's a good question. All right, first or second? I feel like I'd rather still go second. I don't feel incredibly strongly about that. Let's see how this goes, though. So we're playing against the better Ranger. Battering Bolt's kind of funny. Could try that. CNC seems good. I feel like the Go Again's actually maybe not that strong. Maybe we just fat deck a little bit. Kind of don't mind trying this. Let's try it like this and see how it goes, maybe. 64 cards. Is there any bad cards in here? I guess like maybe King Kraken's bad, but maybe we just need that for threat density. Let's try it like this. See how it goes. I don't know if carries on aggro Riptide or if this is more of like the control-y style. Yeah, the last game was kind of crazy though. I did not think we were gonna win that. All right, starting off with the Seek and Destroy. Pretty good one. All right. Yeah, that was one of the worst games I ever watched. I think that was one of the worst games I've ever played. Yeah, that was like peak what Noodle Fab, I think. That's I think the Ellie and Yuki's term for it. Block 9? Is this right? I mean, our hand sucks anyways. I think I just don't want to get hit by the Seek and Destroy off of a Rain Razors or something. Alright, we got the Manta coming in. Alright, I think we're taking 2 here. I don't think there's any real reason to give the gold-rated hook here. It might prove to be a little bit better later in the game. But yeah, that was peak Wet Noodle Fab. That was like, that game reminded me, I guess, of like KO versus Hatchet Story. That's kind of what that game felt like. And not in like a good way. Ooh, this hand could be pretty good. So let's start with the Marlynn. We could get blown out by the, what is that card? Collapsing Trap. But assuming that we don't, this hand seems pretty good. I guess we would get to load immediately, so maybe it's not even that bad. Oh, we're getting rippled away. No, ruined. Damn, Carrie came prepared. Hilarious, though. Actually, it might be better to send the... It might be better for, like, resource-wise to send the Infecting Shot here. Otherwise, we're just going to be doing nothing. Like, I feel like maybe it's better to send 7 versus the Battering Bolt. Because we can also, like, just Arsenal the Battering Bolt. Yeah, I think it's fine. Let's send 7 instead of 6 here, I guess. It's like, the question is whether you want to send 10 without an Arsenal or 7 with an Arsenal. I feel like I'd rather send 7 with an Arsenal. Yeah, but that's what people keep coming back to the channel for, is really bad Fab gameplay. Oh boy. Alright, so it seems like it carries on more of like the aggro plan, which we kind of saw from the Searing Shot and the Bolton Shot. The Ripple Waves are also pretty spicy, though. I kind of wish Swift Shot was like a better card in like this style of Marlin. I've tried that card out like so many times. It's like continued to unimpress me every time I try to play it. But we're potentially opening ourselves up here to a few different traps. I'm not sure how trap heavy this version of Riptide actually is. But we connect with the blue Infecting Shot, which is at least nice. And then we can maybe just save this Battering Bolt for later. Oh, I'd say not too bad. Oh, I think Carrie has something to say. Bad hand. Oh, crap. Did I lose my hook? Oh, wait, when did I use my hook? Oh, I lost my... Okay, so... Oh, that's fine. You got me. Okay, so here's what Carrie did. So I actually like completely missed this. Because Ripple Away was played on the Golden Tipple, yeah, the 16 Dominate with 3 on hits is pretty nice. But anyways, what Carrie did was actually genius. So Carrie discarded the Tipple on the Golden Tipple, which prevented us from re-getting the gold. And then because he did that, we lost our gold rated hook. So unfortunate. Or sorry. So this is our turn, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, this is our turn. So I guess now we're gonna Golden Tipple. But yeah, anyways, Carrie, that was a very good play. No need to undo because that would have happened in a real game. Yeah. If Hook didn't say Pirate Attack and it was just any attack, I feel like that card would probably be banned. I don't know. That card would be very, very good. But yeah, carry got us good there. Oh yeah, I didn't actually expect the ripple ways, so maybe that was just me not being super familiar with what carries on. But yeah, I think that ripple was actually real solid there. Maybe something to learn from. Maybe I don't play enough gravy, and maybe that's like something that a better gravy player would kind of play around. But yeah, carry got me good there. Can't complain. Alright, so we hit with the battering bolts. What do we reveal? We reveal 2 Codex of Frailties. That's kind of funny. Sure. That's fine. So we're drawing into a yellow tipple, which you can actually discard with the red tipple, which is cool. This hand looks great on paper, at least. Actually, is it great? It depends very much what we draw. Draw blue, it could be good. Yeah, I don't know how much it would actually change gravy. That's a good point. I think we're just saying no blocks here, right? Or we're just going to try to throw this hand. Alright, so we know Carry has a Codex in Arsenal, which is good. So we want to try to pressure that. So if that's the case, I think we start... The problem is it's going to be awkward either way with the Conqueror. Like, I feel like there's actually, because we don't have enough gold set up, there's no real good way to use this. Maybe we should have blocked a little bit. But in this case, let's go ahead and pitch, I guess, the CNC to tipple. Discard the tipple. Maybe this is fine. Or no, maybe this does work. Or no, wait, do we not? Do we? Oh, we didn't load. We can't load a non-arrow. That's why. Makes sense. So now we can start. So if we draw a blue here, it actually unlocks this entire hand because we have Tunic up. So what we could do is we could crack the gold, draw blue, Conqueror, pull Tunic, 3 Oak. Or alternatively, we can just 3 Oak, send the Conqueror now. Other alternative is we just Conqueror for 7, Arsenal 3 Oak. I think those are the plays I see. I feel like we should maybe just try to get a little bit risky with the gold, but we're going to be gold starved basically for the rest of the game, so maybe it's not worth it. Maybe we're supposed to hold on to this gold to make our 9 tipples a little bit better. So let's crack the Tunic. I feel like we're just supposed to send Conqueror here. Is maybe the safest play. If we drew a blue, obviously it's really good. Like, if we draw a bunch of things, then that makes that play better, but I feel like the chances of that play whiffing are quite high. This will at least pressure the CNC in Arsenal, or the Codex in Arsenal, rather. So I think it makes a bit of sense. Alright, Falcon Wing in hand. We're going to trench. Oh, okay. We're going to trench the Codex. We're going to return fire, load the Falcon Wing. Seems pretty good. Then we have the 3 Oak for next turn. Alright, I don't think this is that bad. Take 2 off that. This kind of works out. So we know that 2 Codex, we have 1 Codex in pitch, and then we have 1 that's on the bottom. So the Codexes are next to each other. I guess the question is, are we doing anything with this hand? I actually don't know what the best thing we could do with this hand is. What are we doing with this hand? We could, like, Codex. The problem is, like, the 3 Oak in Arsenal is preventing us from doing anything. So maybe we're supposed to block out a bit this turn, but I guess we don't need to block on the Falcon Wing. We can save our blocks for a bit. I think we are planning on still blocking something this turn. And maybe we're just going to try to send, like, a battering bolt. Alright, Drill Shot is a pretty good one to block. So let's keep the Codex, and maybe we're just going to pitch it to 3 Oak, which is a bit awkward, and then maybe we're just giving up Tunic just to stop the Blood Rot. I think this makes sense. Our Tunic's on 0, so I feel like this does save us quite a bit of value. We're saving at least, what, like 3 value baseline? So I feel like the Tunic block there is fine. Then we can load the Battering Bolt. Do this. Do we have enough to pay here? So if we load the battering bolt, we then have 6 in pitch. We could just also send the battering bolt or send a CNC. I guess both of which are not super exciting. Let's load the battering, I guess. Maybe we're just supposed to not. Unfortunately, we kind of whipped on our 3-oak there. So if we draw blue, what happens? We crack gold, draw blue. We'd still have to pitch our whole hand. Yeah, so I think the best play is maybe just to do this. Maybe we'll hold on to the CNC, actually. Yeah, I think if we drew, like, 1 blue, that hand is a lot better. A little unfortunate. Yeah, what do people think about this style of Marlin list? I'm not crazy about it, right? At least right now. I played a couple games like off stream just to like get a feel for the deck, and I think it's okay. But beyond that, I don't know. I don't know how people feel. I feel like there's some interesting ideas, but beyond that, it feels like the buff strategy is a little bit better. This list did perform very well, so maybe it's just me not knowing the play patterns of it. All right, so let's want to draw the Codex first, and then Arsenal the Codex or the CNC. I think the Codex is better. Okay, this hand looks pretty, or is it good? Might be okay. Okay, so we can do like gold. All right, dry powder shot we don't care about. So I think our play is to maybe like crack gold, conquer 3-oak. We need to draw blue though. If we don't draw blue, we whiff horrifically. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this style of list. I feel like the buff list just has a lot higher high roll potential. Okay, do you want to? Gotcha. Sorry, my bad. All right. So I think Carrie just wanted Arsenal there. That makes sense. All right, so I think we are cracking a gold just to see if we can get a little bit deeper. So our plan is to draw blue, Conqueror, then 3-oak pitching CNC into Codex. It seems like a pretty good play. If we don't draw blue, though, we are going to whiff basically horribly. All right, never punished. Fantastic. So now we get collapsing trapped on this. But if we don't get collapsing trapped, then our 3-oak obviously gets pretty good. But yeah, that Ripple way to start out the game was really good. I think maybe that's just me not being used to playing against Ripple way. Alright, imagine he's going to sink Arsenal. Makes sense. It's also another reason why like Conqueror is not very strong, is just like Crown of Providence in general. Also feels, I guess, pretty bad. Alright, pop the 3-oak. Oh, we whiffed on 3-oak again? No. Oh, this is so sad. I guess it's not like a total whiff, right? Because we can get CNC. Or do we not have a CNC? Oh, we don't even have a CNC. I guess we can get a battering bolt. Maybe that's fine. We also get another Conqueror. Another Conqueror might be spicy. Maybe we discard King Kraken, leave the King Shark in the deck. Or no, we want a King Kraken, right? So we discard the King Kraken, we get the Conqueror back. Okay, maybe this is actually not that bad. And then random Arsenal should be good as long as it's not Sunken Treasure. So we have 3 tipples here. We have 6 tipples left in the deck. That seems good. We'll discard the King Shark in case we want to get it off one of our other kind of like future codexes. We did pitch one earlier. So I think we still have 1 live in the deck, and then we have 1 3-oak live. So what did Carrie get back? Carrie got a Stone Rain back. Okay. And then just send in the Conqueror. So this might eat hand, or maybe they or maybe he's Sunken Treasure or Trenches instead. Which I'm fine with. It basically denies the gold, which is still worth it. But we functionally got the arsenal anyways. So all in all, I'd say not too bad. All right, Swell might be a good arsenal. Who knows? Could be good. The problem with like Swell is just like, especially in a deck where you don't get the information off the top of your deck, like you don't have Compass, right? It's a lot more of like a 50-50 card, so you don't know whether or not you're supposed to be blocking or you're supposed to be like banking on Tipple hitting. So problem with this hand is we don't have an arrow in Arsenal. We are also threatening some pretty decent on hits here. Part of me almost wants to just like block a bit, but I feel like blocking is maybe putting us in a losing pattern. I don't know. We force carry to go off an Arsenal. How bad is that for us? Because the problem here is we don't have a way to load, right? If we had a way to load, then this hand would be a lot better. So maybe we're just actually supposed to block out here. I think this hand like actually is not very good. And then maybe the Swell will get better if we draw into Codex or 3 Oak. For what it's worth, the Battering Bolts, I guess, were a card I mostly want to test. These weren't in the original list. I think there's only one Battering Bolt in the original list, but I wanted to at least play test the card a little bit, because I'm normally not very much of a Battering Bolt believer. Ooh, Nimblism is pretty good. Oh, we got the Jackby Nimble. I was waiting for that. Sweet. All right, steal an item. Well, unfortunately for carry, we do not have any items. It's pretty sick, though. I think this card's pretty good, actually. Just having a 0 for 4, block 3, that most of the time will get Gogan is pretty alright. Wonder if there are maybe like consistency issues with it, but like on paper, this card seems very good. All right, Sleep Darts. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. That maybe like we're supposed to be running cross rep a bit more, at least in like this style of like Boat Marlin. I kind of like just am not a super big fan of Boat Marlin. I don't know how people feel about it, but I'm not super crazy about it. So what is the play here? I guess we might want to pitch the Riches here. The loading gets awkward, so I guess we're giving up Sea Lace and then probably just a Bluefin, right? Just do something like this and hope to high roll somehow. I don't even fully know how exactly we're high rolling. But yeah, Swell does get a bit better if you have like cross wrap, especially. I feel like cross wrap has its own issues sometimes, though. I guess it kind of depends. All right, let's start with the Swell. Pitch the Riches and maybe discard the Goldfin depending on what we draw. I feel like this kind of works. All right, we had a blue, which is nice. I feel like the Saltwater Swells have been hitting pretty frequently, at least from my limited sample size. Not the Collapsing Trap. Boo. Is there anything we're doing about this? Maybe not. So we're going to draw cards, right? Which means we do get to load if we hit an arrow. There are some, like, I think that there is, like, merit to actually just, like, doing mono cross wrap. That card is very, very strong. It kind of just feels like Marlyn's just, like, missing something to make her a little bit more playable, for lack of a better word. I guess we do get to load the King Shark, which is kind of funny. And then I guess... So the question is whether or not we're cracking a gold to just get a random arsenal. I don't think that's worth it. Just go for the 6 here and hope to catch carry on a all attack hand. I think that makes sense. Although it's pretty unlikely that that's a hand he could have, given that we have a lot of buffs in the deck as well. But yeah, cross wrap I think has a lot of good strengths. It's mainly like the problem with cross wrap is just like not having access to that first gold can be quite painful, at least in the early game. But like once you get going with cross wrap, it feels very, very strong. It's just like keeping it going is the difficulty. All right, let's see what we get. Oh yeah, Compass being a pirate would also be kind of cool. Like if you could use that. So the only problem with it, if it was a pirate, is they'd have to like retemplate Hammerhead because I think Hammerhead cares about, Hammerhead is two-handed, so like you couldn't have an offhand. But if they did template this to be a one-handed weapon, then that being an offhand would actually be quite cool. All right, pretty sick. So we got the Ravenous Rebel here. Oh, if there's follow-up, this is going to get scary, but I think we just have to take 7 here. We do have 3 oak, which is nice. So maybe we can just like block 6 here, depending on what Carrie has, or maybe just block 3. All right, nothing is great for us. So I think we maybe have a chance here. So let's start, I guess, with the swell. I guess it doesn't really matter which one we do first, right? I guess let's start with the swell. We already saw the collapsing trap, so I guess there's not really a reason to play around that. All right, Codex on top. Interesting. It's another Codex 3 oak hand. Oh, God. All right. So we know Codex is on top. We should still draw it anyways, though, right? So we crack Marlynn. We draw the Codex. We then 3 oak, and then we just use the Codex's pitch. So awkward. It's not really a better play, though, is there? I mean, we could, like, just discard our 3 oak, but that's not correct, probably. Yeah, I guess we're just going to tipple. Discard the Goldfin. Use this as pitch. If Marlynn could also, like, reload face down, like, Marlynn reloading face up is also pretty rough. Like, if she reloaded face down and it could be, like, anything, then she'd get a lot better. But this ability is, like, so awkward. Just, like, it has to be an arrow card, and it also has to be, like, face up. It's pretty rough. But yeah, I guess we're just gonna 3 oak now. Maybe she'd be too broken if that was the case. I don't know. But, like, it feels like maybe there's some room there. Alright, so I guess we're just sending Drill Shot for 6. Not super exciting. Yeah, I don't know about this boats, Marlynn. I think that there are some players who are maybe better with it than me. And maybe that's just like, maybe it's a skill issue, honestly. But I think that, like, I kind of just prefer the version of Marlynn where you're just sending a huge arrow every turn and you're making your opponent deal with it, as opposed to, like, doing a bunch of, like, roundabout things to, like, avoid pumping an arrow. I don't know. It feels like there's a lot of, like, weird variants you introduce to the deck that I'm maybe not crazy about. Alright, we connect with the Drill Shot, though, potentially. Let's put it on the Trench, I guess. Drop the Anchor. Assume we probably got another 0 for 4 here. Endless Arrow, so we're gonna get tapped down. Which is not the end of the world. Oh, the Endless Arrow is pretty rough, though. Maybe we have to, like, deal with the Endless. Because if Carrie just gets to Snapdragon this... I guess he can't load it, though. So maybe we don't actually care about this. So we're just going to get tapped down, and that's fine. I don't think we should go to 1 against Riptide. I actually don't know how many traps this version is running. Because if we get hit by any trap, we just, like, die immediately. But maybe... I actually don't know what this version of, like, Riptide does. Like, maybe we should just not care about traps, because it seems like it's pretty trap light. I think maybe just blocking 6 here makes sense, and then Conquer. We could actually block like 9 if we really wanted to be like aggressive with it. There's also a play where we can just like pitch a blue, try to draw blue. I don't think that's very good. I think we're just going to try to send the Conqueror here. We do get an extra bit of gold here, which is also nice. Let's turn over, I guess, Tipple or whatever. Oh, shit, I forgot about this. Oh, yeah. I'll put an arrow... Oh, put an arrow face up. Sorry, I thought I like misread this card the first time I read it. Yeah, I forgot about this. So, Carrie gets to, yeah, sorry. I forgot. For some reason, I thought... Okay, this is going to sound like really dumb. For some reason, I thought that this is put an arrow from your hand face up into your arsenal with a name counter. For some reason, I thought you already had to have something with a name counter, but that's obviously not how that works. Because I think you have to have something... All right, I think aim counters only get applied when you put an arsenal, right? Like, you can't have an aim counter in your hand. That doesn't make any sense. So yeah, that makes sense. So we do actually have to block 9 on this, right? Yeah, we have to block 9 on this. Which I guess could still work out, but we might just like whiff horribly and die. Yeah, I think that return on the ROI there is quite bad. Okay, so yeah, we're blocking 9 here so that we avoid the gloves. I guess we get to double Sunken Treasure, which is kind of funny. So we turn over, I guess, Tipple plus what? Turn over Codex, I guess. It's still not bad. If we draw blue, we're kind of in this game. Or at least force a card out of hand, which is nice. I feel like Carrie's numbers are just like better than mine though. Alright, blue is nice. So that's good. And I don't think there's any like anything we could do with like extra gold. So we're just sending him for 8 there. Yeah, I forgot about the gloves load. For some reason I thought like the arrow had to have a name counter already, but clearly not how that works. This card's pretty strong. I guess it's like Bullseye, but you don't get the +1, but you get name counter instead. Which I guess makes sense if you're running cards like Stone Rain. I think that might be the only aim counter payoff other than just like the +1 payoff on some of these random arrows. Alright, seems like we might be gaining carry to 1 though, which could be good. This is a real ranger battle we got going on here. Alright, Conk has hit. It's dropping carry down to 3. Seems pretty good. Oh, is that your only 3 block in hand? That could explain it. Oh, Kodak's pretty good. Yeah, I've heard that's a pretty good one. Alright, so we need to, like, not die here. Which I guess means we just get, like, Drill Shot or something back. You can also get a Swell and try to do something cute with, like, a gold... How much gold do we have? We have 2 gold. So we could actually get Swell, block 6. Take 1... Oh no, but we're in the same problem with the Endless Arrow, right? So we have to block 9 on this. Which means that we should just get back a 0 cost, like a random Drill Shot or something. Or I guess maybe like Murderous Rebel, maybe has the highest upside, I'm not 100% sure. So we discard the eye, we block 9. I guess this kind of works out. Yeah, you don't need to respect overpower. It's pretty bad. Alright, block 9. So we can turn over now. I guess it doesn't really matter. I guess we can turn over Codex. Oh, we're not even threatening lethal with the Rebel, right? So we probably shouldn't even play it. Should probably just like sit on it. Yeah, I think we are pretty dead here. Assuming Carrie's got anything. Maybe fatigue is like our out here. I don't know how realistic that is, but we do have a lot of block threes in our hand. All right. Oh, these have been some grindy games today. Trenches may be a good sign. All right, we got the red spine into pre-med. Oh, maybe you're gonna take the load there first. That makes sense. All right, well, we got block 9 again. Maybe carry's actually fatiguing us with the endlesses. It's kind of sick. So yeah, block 9. We might just be dead here, depending on what the next 2 cards are. Yep, snap seems pretty good. All right, what is the follow-up? Oh, oh yeah, carry had 1 floating from the other thing. Okay, yep, makes sense. So block the Mercy Rabble will drop down to 3. Carry will get an Arsenal. I feel like the play might actually be to just like make a Goldfin Harpoon here just for 2 damage. Is that bad? That might be bad. But like we might not be able to keep cards given how Carry's deck is like slanted. Yeah, let's do it. Let's send in 3, or hopefully 3 rather. And then we can follow up with the Goldfin Harpoon and just put in Arsenal. Oh, we can't do that because we got hit by Sleep Dart. Ah, yes. So not doing that play, unfortunately. That's fine. All right, staying alive. I feel like Carrier actually might not have that many traps in his deck. All right, we do have Tarpit Trap though. Maybe spoke a little too soon. So we're just trying to hold on to any number of blues, right? Just so we can like pitch to gold, make a Goldfin, send 6 overpower or something. But that doesn't even work because of the Tarpit Trap now. Drop is also pretty good. All right, red Bolton shot. Oh, we're getting tapped down again. No, not like this. Yeah, block 9. Rough. Oh, we might be getting fatigued. I think I fat decked a little bit too. All right, let's crack Marlynn, load the Goldfin Harpoon, and just pass. I think we're just having to block out every turn. Is why I made the Goldfin. I feel like there's no world where we're actually able to like play Codex here. And even if we did play Codex, right? We don't even have the pitch for it necessarily. I guess we could crack some gold, but still not super exciting. I feel like maybe the play is just to hope to hit him with the CNC block 5 or something. We know he has a Tarpit Trap in hand, so that's a dead card, and then 3 other unknown cards. All right, love to see a Riptide pass. So Tarpit Trap plus 3 block would stop the Harpoon. I feel like we like need to play out the Goldfin though. If we don't play out the Goldfin, it just stays there forever. In which case, we're still gonna get pinged for 1. It's kind of rough. Maybe we're supposed. Well, if we tipple, then that gives him an excuse to Tarpit Trap, right? I feel like it doesn't get much better than just trying to Hammerhead there. Oh well, the Tarpit Trap has to work on Go again, right? So maybe actually the Goldfin is fine. So let's pitch CNC and I guess we can like overpitch here and then just like Arsenal this. Because the Tarpit Trap is not going to trigger. And then we Arsenal Codex, just keep 2 blues and then hope to Codex something. I feel like this play makes sense. Although carry should be able to block it. So this doesn't trigger. Okay, I kind of don't mind this. Right, there's the second one. So I feel like we're now expecting a 3rd Tarpit Trap somewhere, maybe, unless there's only 2. Interesting. I feel like we might just be barely in this, but I don't know. Time will tell, I guess. All right, looks like another pretty big turn from Carrie. All right, we can block 9. That's fine. This is a slog. These have been some very long games today. So let's start cracking a gold, hoping to draw something, hoping to draw blue. CNC not helpful. Oh, CNC is like super not helpful. I guess we could have cracked a gold, gotten a CNC. Oh, actually, maybe that was a better play. Oh, but I kind of like, yeah, me the better play was to actually crack a Goldfin Harpoon, discard it to the Codex. Yeah, we keep a blue in hand, just get a CNC. I think that was probably better, wasn't it? Or no, we don't even have a CNC. No, we don't even have a CNC in the bin, so that was not an option. Okay, yeah, maybe that was. I guess we have like battering bolt. Maybe that's similar. That's. I guess we can still do the same play, right? We just get a battering bolt. Maybe that's the play. I don't know. This feels awkward, obviously. Super weird. Maybe we're still supposed to go for that anyways. I don't know. Let's grab, I guess, the bolt. Or I guess maybe King Shark's better. Maybe we still get the King Shark just so we're threatening an attack in hand. Maybe that's better. I feel like the chances of us hitting with a battering bolt and that mattering are pretty low. So I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't have not. Maybe we shouldn't have drawn off the golds. I guess there's like pretty high upside though. We can like pump this, send 7. I guess it's not that high of upside. I don't know. I think there was maybe a line there where it's better to just discard the Goldfin than to do anything to draw. I guess is the benefit there. Oh, I forgot like I had this drink here this entire time. Yeah, take your time, Gary. No rush. Alright, let's see how this goes. So what threats do we have left in the deck? We have 1 Nimblism banished. We maybe have another Jack B Nimble at least. Maybe like 1. Maybe another Ravenous Rebel. Maybe another Bolton Shot or something. Still super awkward. Alright, so Carrie's getting a Jack B Nimble back. Should be a 0 for 3. Discarding drop. Carrie does need to block this, at least with 1 or 2 cards. So maybe we have the third. Oh, yeah, Buzzbot Trap. Okay, that's fine. All right, getting down to the wire here. All right, draw the riches is not helpful. Okay, this is looking a little suspect. All right, let's block. I actually don't know if we can beat a follow-up here. We'll see. All right, it seems like there is a follow-up. All right, 0 for 4, pretty good. Can we go to 1 here? If we block with the Codex, we can tipple. I mean, I guess that doesn't. Oh, this coming in. Okay, this is coming in for 3. Still not helpful though. I don't know. Maybe we just get Drill Shot off Codex. I mean, that's the best play. Rich's draw was a little unfortunate. Yeah, this is fine. Go to 2. Oh, excuse me. Alright, we'll go to 2 here. Get a 0 cost, which would be... What? Should be a drill shot or a murder scrabble or something? Alright, a little spooky. Alright, let's grab... Where is it? We could also get the murder scrabble. I don't know how much that actually matters. Or no, I guess the murder scrabble could matter because we had forced a card out of hand. I feel like there were some better decisions I could have made this game. I'm not 100% sure. I feel like... I don't know. I feel like things just did not line up super well this game. Like, I feel like our codexes were kind of rough. Like, I think we drew codex plus 3 oak, like, twice. Maybe that's a little bit rough. Ooh, wait, did they have the thing where you can see, like, the flipped over graveyard? At least in my graveyard. That's pretty neat. I like that change. I think it still makes sense to have your opponents hidden, though. Just because that's how it kind of is in, like, a real game. Oh, we have one more Endless Arrow to worry about. Oh, I guess we have another Endless Arrow in Arsenal. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, let's force a card out of hand. Potentially. But pretty likely that it hits a blue there. It's coming down to the wire. I think we are kind of barely winning on deck, maybe? I don't even know if that's true. Alright, there's Tar Pit. So I guess maybe the argument for Drill Shot is we play around the last Tar Pit and then we don't get pink for 1. Maybe we should have gotten the Drill Shot instead. Maybe. I wasn't actually sure if he was running a third Tar Pit trap, but I guess it makes sense. Pretty good against Slippy right now, at least. Alright, so the Endless Arrow coming in for 3. How afraid do I have to be of Rain Razors? We haven't seen a single Rain Razors this entire game. I feel like we don't actually have to be that afraid of it, right? Like, what is... I don't think there's an instant speed way he can buff this. So I think we should just, like, try to Arsenal King Kraken or something. I think this makes sense. Unless there's, like, one copy of Rain Razors randomly. That'd be kind of funny. I think that block makes sense. So what trap does Carrie have that can kill me? Hold on. Let's look at the Riptide traps. Trap. I'm thinking of the legendary ones. Or no, I guess we can't search like that. It's let's look. Hold on. Tell Carrie I'm thinking. Thinking. Alright. Alright, let's look at the Riptide trap. So Riptide specialization. Search. So you saw Buzzsaw collapsing. I guess Spike Pit Trap would be the only one. Like, I feel like those are the only 3 that Carrie would be running, right? So in that case, we pass here. And that one only triggers on attack reacts, right? Yeah, so that's fine. So I think we should be safe at 1, right? And then we can just pump this, bolt and shot, send it. We saw all 3 tar pit traps plus the collapsing. I think this makes sense, right? We send 6 into potentially just arsenaling here. All right, down to the wire. And now we can block 2 CNCs, assuming that he's coming in for 6. If he's coming in for 9, then we can just send King Kraken or something. I feel like we might just barely have this. But if Carrie has like a good turn, like triple or double buff, oh, Codex could also get there too. So Codex actually, if he has a buff behind it, might mean that we have to do something different. Codex discarding Codex is funny. Alright, We have two. We have another Ravenous Rebel on top, so we have to double block this now. We might actually lose now because the Codex. I did forget about that. So what other card does he have left in deck? Not sure. I think Carrie might actually have it now. Depends what this card is. If this card is like any arrow, I think we die. Oh yeah, that's a pretty good one. So this gets dominate too. That'll do it. All right, that was a very good game, Carrie. Oh, couldn't quite get there. Unfortunate. Wow, these have been some long ones today. GG's. So I think that game I just didn't play around Ripple Away, which was 40 minutes ago, which is kind of fun. Yeah, that was very funny. Yeah. So we had 2 cards left in deck. We had a Ravenous Rebel and a Sleep Dart. I think I could have played that one a little bit better. Not gonna lie, but I feel like I'm not used to this kind of style of Marlynn, so that makes sense. All right, let's try to get one more non-Riptide game and see how that goes. Let me find. So this is the original deck. All right, let's grab that one. All right, let's see what we can play against. Oh, we got some open CC going. Nice. Yeah, I think there was maybe a better line or two there. I'm trying to think. We're playing against Azuri. No, first or second into Azuri. Probably still second. Like, we're gonna get dominated, but maybe that's fine. I guess we'll bring in all our D-Reacts. I feel like a lot more Azuris are just doing, like, fatigue stuff. So in that case, maybe we're just fat-teching a bit. King Kraken could be pretty bad, but we might just need it for the deck density. Yeah, I think this looks fine. Let's try it like this. All right, last game of the day. Let's try to close it out on a good one. All right, hopefully not super grindy. We'll see. So I fully expect to just get dominated on turn 1, but I think it's worth it to have the tempo, at least starting out. All right, looks like we got another contract deck. So Azuri, notably, it has to be a stealth card, so they can't swap with like a contract card. I feel like I'm okay just holding on to like the red tipple here and like maybe blocking with the Conqueror. Maybe there's some merit to blocking with the Bolton Shot instead. Actually, maybe that's better. And so you block like this in the case that we draw double blue, and in which case this hand gets pretty good. Let's try this. I think it makes sense. I guess there's also some merit to maybe trying to YOLO off the quiver, but I don't think we really need to there. And this hand almost works. If we can draw blue off the tipple, this gets really good. So let's start by cracking Marlynn. And then we can tipple, pitch the Murderous Rabble. Something like this. So discard the Goldfin. I feel like we're pretty likely to send the Conqueror anyway, so I'm not going to put the hook on this. And yeah, I think this is fine. So we're just going to send the Conqueror's follow-up, and then Arsenal the King Kraken. Conqueror will only come in for 7, but I don't think it's that bad. So we'll hook and then send 7. Seems fine, and it also pushes our Codex for later. All in all, I'd say this is pretty okay. Alright, so it's kind of interesting. It looks like they're running like a mix of contract cards and non-contract stuff. Alright, seems like they maybe have React here. Makes sense. See, this is kind of like why I think a lot of Marlynn lists have been cutting on Conqueror, is just because, like, if you Arsenal like a D-React, a lot of times it just feels pretty bad. Like, you're basically playing, like, a 4-for-8 go again a lot of the time, and, like, people want to be playing D-Reacts into you anyways, so you're not really, like, it's not really, like, pressuring these decks in any kind of, like, unique way. So I think the play here... There are actually a couple plays here. We could actually like play the tipple and YOLO, but we need to draw a blue to make that work. I feel like maybe a safer play is just to send the Kraken here. Like, we're going to send the Kraken, Arsenal Kraken. Maybe it proves to be a little bit disruptive, maybe not. 10 overpower, still 10 overpower though. I actually don't know how many non-attack Azuri is running, but we at least would get some information about what their hand is, which is kind of good, at least against this hero. To me, it's not even that bad. Just like 10, take a look at your hand. I think that's an acceptable fail state. Alright, no blocks. Let's see what they got. We got shelter. Not unexpected. Oh, double shelter. Okay. They are prepared. Yep, seems pretty good. So we got Shred and the Persuasive Prognosis. Sure. It's not that bad. So we're basically just gonna like no blocks this, and then just leave them stranded with the Shred. They can't Azuri because Azuri says you have to banish a card from your hand face down, so this will always be a Persuasive Prognosis. Alternatively, we could also... I mean, I feel like there's just like no real incentive to block here, right? I think we just are going to take this. Because like it leaves them with the Shred in their hand. Like maybe they just nick from Arsenal. They get stuck with the Shred in hand another turn. I don't know. We're just going to basically not play into Shred. Alright, banish the Drill Shot off the top and they get to take one of our blues, which is not the end of the world. Might actually be better for them to take a blue here, because then we can have a high roll chance on Saltwater Swell. I'd say this is fine. We got 3 D-Reacts out of the way. Maybe we have 3 more to go. We'll see. Alright, let's start with Swell. Alright, please, Swell. Alright, Swell is not kind to us today, but that's actually maybe fine to draw into. Alright, Frailty Trap as well. We got all the overpower going on here. Or all the D-Reacts going on here. So let's draw off our gold and then just send CNC then. Is that the better play? Or alternatively, we can just send the King Kraken. But it's not super exciting. I feel like I'd rather just like save this. So let's actually crack the gold here. Draw the CNC and then send the CNC, which is a little bit more disruptive. Maybe we force 3 armor plus card from hand, which I'd be happy with. I think this is pretty good. Alright, so we should see the Shred block. We also get a Conqueror, or a CNC out of them, so pretty alright. We are kind of winning on at least the Fatigue plan right now. Alright, Blue Infect. Seems fine. So I can't even swap this because this is from hand. So we don't know what their arsenal is. I'd say this is fine, though. It's a bit awkward because, like, I guess we're just, like, pumping 6, sending arsenaling. That's fine. Maybe we even arsenal the Codex. Alright, let's then pump here. Yeah, I think we're just paying 6 like this, and then arsenaling Codex. Still seems good. Feels like we're not really making a ton of forward progress in this game, but we're kind of just like not dying and keeping tempo, so maybe it's not actually that bad for us. We've seen a lot of the reacts out of the way, so we have maybe a couple more reacts we still have to deal with, like maybe a couple more frailties. So I guess here's like a high level question about Marlynn is like, I've heard a lot of people talking about bringing Marlynn to various events. I'm kind of curious like what the appeal is. At least I've been kind of like a bit down on the hero when you just compare it to like Slippy or anything else. It just feels kind of lackluster. All right, so we got a backstab, isolate, and a surgical. So most likely we're gonna just swap a surgical in at us. That's fine. But I guess like that's kind of like my main question about this hero is like, what is she trying to do in the meta? And I kind of still don't really have a great answer for that. All right, Spider's Bite's fine. So almost certainly just getting hit by isolate plus surgical. This is fine. We have plenty of resources in hand, so we can still like codex and do stuff. Could just block. Blocking is like not good because we want to like pitch this or something. Yeah, I think this is fine. We're just gonna take the surgical here. I mean, it doesn't really matter all that much. I feel like what they take here. All right, swell off the top, and then one card from hand. Guess they could take the riches, and that'd be kind of funny. Makes sense. Also, not the end of the world by any means. Sure. Fine. So, what's the play now? What do we want to get back? Probably just King Kraken, which again is not super exciting against Azuri. We could start like threatening the gold baited hook on stuff, but it's maybe still a little bit too early for that. Alright, let's grab. We can also just grab CNC, which might unironically be better, but I'll get the harpoon because I guess it's 4 extra damage. I feel like I haven't seen a ton of Azuri stuff lately. I feel like there's like that one period during MST where she was actually like kind of good. But she's like dropped off a lot since then. I don't fully understand why. I guess maybe just like new was kind of like better at one point. And I guess like Slippy and Mario are also just like so much better than Azuri. Maybe that's like maybe Hunted is really the reason for the kind of like the drop off there, which I think makes sense. All right, react number 4 out of the way. Not bad. All right, so we see a Frailty Trap, a Leave No, and a Justinic. This is fine. So they don't even have like a really good swap target. Yep, so this seems fine. I'm kind of curious why they didn't block with the Frailty Trap, but I guess it makes it a little bit of sense. All right, let's get a random Ponder. The Elephant's whatever, but they're going to Leave No me anyways, so we might as well arsenal it. Let's see what they got. So we're pitching a Justinic to come in with the Spider's Bite for 0. Can't complain. Right, into Bonds of Attraction. So they have a Leave No and a Frailty Trap. So this is just like black text or something. Sure. If this is just black text, shouldn't I just block with the gold bait hook here? Wait, this play seems like kind of bad. Because now they're just IPing with the Leave No, right? Oh wait, did they cycle a card off Sink Below? Maybe they did. Maybe that makes this worse. I think this is fine. Oh, right, it's Uri. Duh. That makes sense. Yes, so we swapped the Leave No there. Okay, so we should have just taken cover of this. That makes sense. Sorry. I'm so not used to playing against Azuri that for some reason I blanked on that. So that's my bad. All right, I guess we'll just take cover anyway. So we should have 1 extra point of armor here. But that's fine. I always forget that you can like swap Leave No with Azuri. But it makes sense. All right, let's go ahead and just So Sunken Treasure, we actually want to bottom, or no, do we want to bottom? I guess we can top both of these, right? We can top like this, Murderous Rabble, then do Sunken, or then play the arrow. I guess that's fine, sure. Let's try it like that. So we know they have a Frailty in Arsenal. Oh, they're not going to go on the Frailty on that. Sure. So I guess we'll just do this instead. It's like a semi-real chance we can get some armor here if they have a yellow, like a Shred or something. Alright, so it looks like they might have a yellow if they're giving us armor. I'm assuming that this is Frailty, Codex Frailty plus maybe another D-React from hand or something. Alright, so there's Sync, and then Frailty. Wouldn't Frailty mean that they don't have to actually give the black text here? Because wouldn't this apply the Frailty, which would reduce this? Oh, no, because it doesn't have Gogan. That makes sense. Yep. Makes sense to me. We're doing pretty well this game, though. We got Sunken Treasure, we got Take Cover, we got CNC, we got Bonds. All right, let's try to guess what the ceiling on bonds is here. So they pitched a Justinic very recently. Could honestly just try to like double Sunken Treasure here, and then if we need a block extra, we could block with a take cover. If we don't need a block extra, then this could also just be a Zuri swap, right? They have black text plus flick plus maybe one other react, which maybe is just a Zuri or something. I almost feel like we're supposed to block 6 and just like take cover, and then like maybe just Arsenal CNC or something to end it. Not sure. I'm gonna block 6 here because I feel like they have something. So let's get rid of the shred, and then let's get rid of what? Tipple, I guess. Sure. So if they don't go over, if they don't go over here, they can just we can just like pitch Tunic here to do that. Oh, actually, this is kind of a sick play. So now we can like take cover. We can take cover. So we actually respond to the Nerve Scalpel, right? We take cover this, reload the CNC, and now we get around this. Oh, this is actually kind of nasty. So we go to 9 here. They don't get go again. I think we actually played that semi-well. I guess there's no real reason to like Arsenal the CNC, but I guess just in case they have like another react there. All right, so I think we'll just pass. Tar Pit Trap could be a good one. That's kind of an interesting turn. We do have the Conqueror combo. We have Conk into CNC, assuming we can keep 4 cards here. Maybe slightly unlikely. But Azuri is typically like constrained for action points, so this Tar Pit Trap might actually do some work. If we can go 8 and 6, I think that's pretty big. I'm also not sure how I feel about these take covers in this deck. It feels very weird because like the reload is sometimes relevant, but also I feel like it's a lot less relevant on kind of like your more go wide boatsy type style deck. All right, so let's just do Conqueror and a CNC. Seems pretty good. Yeah, what do people think that like Marlynn kind of needs at this point? I'm kind of feeling like she needs at least like some other harpoon that kind of like punishes more defensive decks. That's one thing I feel like she needs. Some other things are just like better ranger cards, I feel like. Okay, we time walked them. Fantastic. We still have one unknown card in hand, but we can hopefully deal with that. This hand is actually really interesting. We can actually start by codexing, pitching Marlynn. So I guess we should actually start by cracking a gold here, because if we draw a blue, then we can codex, get a Conqueror back, and that's a pretty big deal. So let's start with that. Or no, sorry, we want to pitch. We want to. Or no, sorry, we do want to pitch to gold first. We pitch to gold first. Hope to draw blue. Blue is fantastic. All right. So now we don't load. We then make a Goldfin. Discard the Goldfin. Get back. Conqueror. This now is go again. Alright, seems pretty good so far. And now we just need to not brick horrifically on the 3-oak, and I think we're in business. This could be a good turn. It's got the makings of a good turn. It's just whether or not we're gonna get the rest of the way there is the question. We need to draw pretty well. I think we need to draw at least like one good arrow. Alright, hitting with the conch is fantastic. Close chain. I think we will pull Tunic in case we get the opportunity to preserve the other 3-oak. Alright, we draw all of our 3-oaks. This is not that bad, though. I guess we can just, like, pump the drill shot now. And then Arsenal 3-oak. I guess we could have also set the hamstring shot, but I think that going for -1 damage is maybe fine. I think -1 damage is fine if we get the guaranteed 3 Oak in Arsenal. So I'd say this is okay. Alright, pretty good one. But yeah, I feel like in terms of like my Marlin wish list, what I really want is like, I don't know, some payoff, I guess. It feels like the payoff is like not all the way there. Like you get like these big arrow effects, right? But like getting them to hit is like borderline impossible. Like it almost feels like Ranger as a class in general needs like some like 0 for 3 pump that like disincentivizes you from playing D-Reacts. I feel like that could be pretty compelling, or at least make it so that overpower is like less bad than it is. I think we're arsenaling the 3 Oak or the Tipple. I feel like Tipple is better to keep in hand. Don't feel super strongly about that. This is fine. So we get CNC'd, whatever. Let's see what they got. Alright, surgical basically does nothing, actually. So they take one of our Tipples. Hitting a King Shark is a little unfortunate, though. I feel like the best hit, or the best thing for them to take there might be the Redfin, which I think they agree with. Alright, so let's start tippling. So, crack Marlin, tipple, or no, we should probably gold bait hook on the tipple because we're not guaranteed to get it. Could get punished by another one of those, what was it called? What is that card that prevents you from making a bunch of tokens? The one to carry Ripple Away, that's the one I'm thinking of. The one we just played against. Alright. So Marlin there. So we could get punished by Ripple Away, but I doubt it. Yeah, that card seems pretty good right now. Especially in like Gravy. If you can like force them to not make gold and they activate Compass in a weird way, then maybe that's like actually a pretty big deal. And then I guess are we gonna tipple again is the question. Might as well get an extra 2 points of value, right? No reason to like hold back, even if we're not discarding. Right, then we can 3 Oak. Or I have an arrow in hand, but we obviously find a better arrow, which I am appreciating. So we do this, and then I guess we also have the opportunity to like hamstring shot, pitch the tarpit trap, and then arsenal bluefin. Because right now I don't really want to arsenal his tarpit trap. That might have been slightly better, but we're gonna stick to it, I guess. We might not even arsenal this depending on what they do. Like if they like block out here, I feel like we shouldn't. Because then we could get stuck with this in arsenal, and that's really bad. Depends how they block here. If they just go to one card, I think I'm not gonna arsenal. Alright, let's take a look at that hand. Alright, we see a Codex of Frailty and a Shakedown. So imagine they're probably just going to shake down. They're going to send something next turn, right? Like almost guaranteed. So I think arsenaling the tarpit trap is maybe okay. Yeah, I think it's fine. Alright. Things are looking pretty good this game. Worst case scenario would just be like they pass for some reason. Alright, this makes sense. So they're going to pitch a shakedown, Spider's Bite, then just get Leave No. Alright, I think we're okay with this. Hello, how's it going? Yeah, we're just finishing up the Marlin stream. We had some very grindy games today. Lots of kind of wet noodle fab, it's felt like. Alright, so you're coming with the Leave No. We'll just go ahead and tarpit trap this, and seems pretty good. We're not going to get like the tarpit trap to trigger or anything, but just being a 0 for 3 is quite good. Spider's Bite does kind of look like a shotgun. I could see that. I don't think that's completely unreasonable. There's some weapon that I had a similar thing for. I forget what it was. It was maybe like High Riser or something, where I thought it looked like a gun. I could be imagining that. I thought I made a comment about that at some point. Alright, let's start by tippling. Yep, seems pretty good. There's some joke that someone made recently. What was it? It was like, No, it's something like one of the new heroes with a gun or something. Yeah, High Reser definitely looks pretty gun-like. There's someone made a joke recently about like someone with a gun. I forget. Like it was some random hero. So we made a gold this turn, so we can gold bait hook. Maybe it was Betsy with a gun or something. Maybe that was the joke. Or no, it was Olympia with a gun. That's who it was. It was Olympia because of the new armor set. That's what he needs. All right, we got leave no plus isolate. That's fine. Sure. Yeah, but how about that new Olympia armor? Here, people are a huge fan of that. I'm joking, of course. I don't think anyone's ever said that. Or I guess we saw more to see of the set, so who knows? Maybe there's some wager support, but I kind of doubt it. Alright, so we're gonna swap in a leave no. That's fine. Don't think we care when we're not on Arsenal. Or they're just gonna save the leave no. Also makes sense. But yeah, I think Olympia definitely could use a gun in terms of a weapon. That'd be kind of cool. I think we're pitching the King Kraken. I guess it doesn't really matter what we pitch. We're probably gonna pitch this anyways, so might as well. All right, excellent hit. Fantastic. Now we don't even need to draw blue necessarily to hit here. Blue would be nice though. Let's get the King Shark, and then we have one floating here, one floating here. So we do need to pitch the Codex, but not the end of the world. And then do we even need a gold baited hook here? We didn't make a gold this turn, right? We just played swell. We could get a little greedy with the hook if we wanted to. I don't think that's completely unreasonable. Let's get greedy. Why not? We're getting pretty low down in deck. We've seen a lot of the D-reacts. We've seen 3 sinks. They obviously have some treads here, but maybe we don't actually care about that. Alright, Codex in hand, that's also fine. So they have a leave no in Arsenal, which they can't give go again. Yeah, so we're in okay shape here. Oh, do I have any hot takes about what should be banned? Tegan and I were talking about this recently.
Flick knives.
Tegan thinks flick knives should be banned. I think that's a little unhinged. I can kind of see it, but also, like, I don't know. I think flick knives is just whatever. I honestly, so, like, honest opinions on what should be banned, I think that, like, by all metrics, Gravy, like, I've seen a lot of arguments about Gravy, and I guess one of the arguments about Gravy is that he's not as dominating a deck as, like, people would kind of, like, yeah, it could definitely, like, Flick Knives in particular could kneecap some heroes, like Azuri or, like, whatever. I'm not that people really care about Azuri, but, like, I think in terms of, like, bans, what I would like to see is, like, let's talk about Gravy, right? So Gravy has been doing very well, but he's not been doing so well to the point where he's like every portion of the meta, right? Like he's not he's high representation, but the best players are able to do a lot better with Gravy than some other players. There's a little bit of back and forth about like just his overall power level. So we're getting CNC'd here, by the way. Which means maybe we should have blocked this. I don't know. I don't know if we care at this point. But anyway, so there's been some talk about Gravy. What I'm trying to say about Gravy is that I think Gravy is a very strong deck, and he's the most tech 4 deck right now. Because like, if your deck does not beat Gravy or Slippy, like you shouldn't play the deck, right? If he's doing so as well as he is, and he's the most tech 4 deck, and like he's still able to put up like really good numbers through that, like maybe that's kind of a problem. I don't know. At least from like a design perspective, it seems a bit like a problem. So we have the port side exchange to block around the Spider's Bite, and then we can block like with the armor here, and then like Arsenal King Shark, I think is the play I see. So we were just getting back like a CNC. Discard, I guess, Conquer or something. Or I guess we discard Tipple. I don't think it really matters a ton here. So now or I guess oh, wait, sorry, we should have not discard Tipple. Sorry, end of the stream, I'm getting a little bit tired. So let's live with our decisions now. Whoops. Gotta go refresh the page here. Alright. So let's block 6 here. Yeah, so I wasn't supposed to discard. I was supposed to discard the Conqueror there, so we can keep pitch and block with this. I think that was the play, but I punted there. But yeah, it like Gravy gatekeeps like half the meta, like easily. Like not like I don't think that's a particularly contentious point, right? That he like actively like disincentivizes you from playing like half the roster. I think that's probably not healthy. But he is like, he's fair in terms of like his average game is like very fair. Like right, like your average Gravy game, he's not doing like a ton of crazy stuff. It's like when you hit every single like high roll card, that's when the deck gets kind of like nuts. So like what I'd like to see is maybe just like tune down a bit of his high roll, like they did kind of with Zen, where he's like high rolling less often and like less hard, I guess, or kind of like how I would describe it. I feel like this is a shakedown, right? Like almost certainly a shakedown. I guess we don't care. Feels like a shakedown. They've only used 2 of them, I think. Yeah, alright. Called it. Nice. So, let's see what they name. Alright, choose blue, which makes sense. Fortunately, we do kind of have like redundant arrows here, so it doesn't really matter. So like back to Gravy, right? Gravy gatekeeps half the meta. He's like definitely like the most, even if he's not the strongest deck right now, like maybe Slippy's technically the strongest deck or whatever, like he gatekeeps half the meta. So I like to see at least a portion of his kit get hit, like especially like now that they printed yeah, that's like a pretty good point. Like if your strategy is to dodge Gravy, like you probably shouldn't be playing that deck. Like all right, like not in terms of like for fun, right? Like if you want to like have fun, like obviously do whatever you want. Like it's a card game, you should have fun, right? But like if you're trying to play it to like win like at like a pro level tournament, right? If your deck does not beat Gravy and it does not beat Slippy, like you probably should not play that deck, which sucks because like a lot of the decks that I like to play, like I like to play Jarl and I like to play Marlyn, right? Like what do these 2 decks like do against Slippy or Gravy, right? Like it feels pretty bad either way. So like that's ultimately kind of like, I don't think Gravy needs a ban in terms of like he is so aggressively over, like it's not a Zen situation, right? Like where there's like not a better deck to play than Zen. It's like a different situation where he's warping the format and he's still doing well even though he's warping the format and like people are still teching for him, which is like kind of crazy. So that's why I at least like to see something banned out of Gravy's kit. I think Slippy is very similar in terms of like I'd like to see his power level reduced a little bit to make room for other heroes. So like Jarl, yeah, Jarl does have like the compass break stuff, and like that can work a certain percentage of games. I actually don't think that matchup's that bad, especially against like local Gravies. Like right, like I can go to an Arbory, I can beat a Gravy. It's not actually that bad, right? I think we're not gonna load here. I think we're just gonna Murderous Rebel first. Yeah, okay. But anyways, like I can go to an Armory, I can beat most of the Gravies at Armory. It's not like that bad, honestly. I think it's at the pro level is where like the Gravy Jarl situation like gets a lot worse, at least from the data. Like the data, I was looking at like Fab Blazing, like that little like matrix that that guy put together, and that data, from the looks of it, it looks like Jarl's win rate is like terrible. It's like 24%. I guess there were only like 10 Jarls at that event, whatever. Maybe the good Jarls stayed home, but I feel like some of those had to have been like pretty competent players, and to see like a 26% win rate seems like pretty bad. So I don't know. I guess in terms of like what I would want out of the meta is like, I feel like they need to tune down some of the top decks at least a little bit. Because like they just released Mastery Pet Guardian, right? And like Valda's like fine, but it didn't even seem like she was doing that well, right? So I don't know. It feels like very much like you know what I think my problem with like the current meta is like people were expecting like Guardian to get a little bit of boost, and like people were so like I was a Guardian player, right? I was super excited to maybe get to play a little bit more Guardian. Um, but that just like isn't competitively viable, which is kind of sad. So I think like that's maybe one of my problems with the meta. I don't know. I feel like it's also just been like the way the meta is like I think High Seas introduced Gravy, but like Slippy, a lot of the top decks have still been the top decks. Yeah, Volda seems like she's still in like the waiting room of trying to be good. Like, I don't know. I've seen Volda lists that can contend with Gravy, but even then it seems like suspect, so I don't know. Alright, I don't know what this is. It's probably just another shakedown, right? That's fine. Let's go ahead and get shakedown. It's one last time. But yeah, and in terms of that, like I guess I don't know. That's probably what I want out of the game. Yeah, like the halfway decent gravies are really the kind of the problem. Um, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. What are we doing with this hand? I guess we're just Marlining again. We should actually discard the tar pit trap, right? I think that actually makes more sense. Then we load the goldfin. I think this makes sense. Because now we get overpower, which could be relevant. But yeah, like the problem is not like your local gravies. That's the issue. The problem is really like the pro level gravies. I think I've gotten that deck basically solved at this point. Like maybe not fully solved, but like maybe 95% of the way there. I don't know. Oh, nice. We got the win there. They didn't have any D-Rex or attack react, so that's actually quite nice. Speaking of halfway decent gravies, I'm going to Battlehard Mill with Gravy being one of my personal weaker matchups. Yeah, that's definitely rough. Like, I think, like, my problem is not with Gravy. I think my problem with Gravy is how ubiquitous it is as a deck at the pro level and also at the local level because the armory decks, right? So it makes a lot of, like, the event experiences feel pretty samey, especially with how good and also how well represented it is. So I don't know. I guess my problems are really with like Gravy and Slippy right now. But I think Burdens also is gonna be problematic in the new set with the extra copy of Burn Bear. That matchup seems like it's probably gonna be like unwinnable for Guardian, at least like a Jarl or other stuff. I don't know. There's a couple like problematic things that I think are coming up in the meta. Yeah, but that's gonna probably wrap it up for today. So this is my modified version of Clement Lubier's Pro Tour Singapore list. Again, apologies if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. This is kind of like a more boats Marlin list. I think we did pretty well these games. Like, I think we lost to what, Riptide, and is there another deck we lost to? I can't remember. Yeah, Burn Bear 2 is also quite funny. Also with the discard effect, is pretty strong as well. Yeah, but this list I think is pretty strong, so it's like more of like the kind of boat style Marlin. I still don't feel like the style of Marlin's for me, which is fine. I think that this style of Marlin does work for a lot of people, like the 9 tipple kind of strategy with like saltwater salts and stuff. And I think it's probably decent in the Gravy because you can just like go wide and then send a disruptive attack at him. Overall, I'd say I'm like okay on this list. I don't think it. I don't know. I don't know if it's for me personally. Like maybe I'm not piloting this correctly. That's a possibility. Like I think we were doing some strong stuff. Saltwater Swell obviously really good when it hits. There's just a lot of like weird variants in this list that I'm maybe not a fan of. Like I don't know. It feels like there's a lot of inconsistency that the 0 for 3 buffs don't have, but the 0 for 3 buffs have the added downside of like you don't block as well. So there's that. I don't know. I think the list feels fine. I'd say like it's a very different kind of take on the list, and maybe it's kind of like better in the particular meta where we're in. Oh yeah, we're doing some Marlin tonight. I think we're gonna probably wrap it up here though. So if you want to go back and watch the VOD, feel free. But yeah, this is kind of like my basis on this kind of like Pro Tour list that I want to try out. Let me actually go back to the Pro Tour list. So this is the original list, right? We were originally running like yellow saltwater swells and like prismatic ley line. I wasn't the biggest fan of that, so I kind of cut this little package here and kind of just like up the swells and like up the battery bolts and stuff. But we also tried a battering bolt today. I wasn't like a super big fan of it. I'm still like not a huge battery bolt fan of Marlin, but I think it's a lot better in this kind of style list because you can go like 8 into 6, and that's still pretty reasonable. Um, yeah, but I think I'm gonna probably wrap it up for today. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Let me know if you have any thoughts on Marlin and stuff, and yeah, I'll just hang out and chat for a little bit and see if anyone has anything to say. But yeah, I think overall I'd say this list is like fine. Yeah, thanks for joining. I've had a lot of fun. We got to try out this Boats Marlin list, which I've been wanting to try out for a bit because I know a lot of people, at least in purple, have been kind of like raving about it, or they've been a little bit higher on this list than like the Loan Shark list or just like the All Buffs list. I think it makes sense, but I'd say I don't know if this is like necessarily the solution to Marlin. It just feels like a kind of parallel thing you can do with her that's maybe sometimes stronger, maybe sometimes not. I don't know. I'm not super high on this list, but I do think that it did pretty well in the Pro Tour. Like I think this went. Let me actually look at the Pro Tour list. I think it went like I think it was like 70th in the Pro Tour. Let me double check that. But I think this list like did do pretty well. Yeah. Let me go to the Pro Tour Singapore. So this was 70th, I think, if I look at the final standings. Do I have a Marlin list I feel like is online with Boost Puffin? Yes. So that Marlin list I would say is, if I go back here, if I go, I kind of like, this is like my own personal Marlin list right now. It's very similar to kind of like the Loan Shark list, I'd say. Oh, ignore the switch shots. Actually, this is probably like out of date, but like the core idea here is like pretty similar. Like where you're wanting to run like Lace with Blood Shot plus like pre-med plus take aim. I'd say like this is pretty similar, or at least like pretty in line with like Boost Puffin, where you're just trying to go. I feel like still the best avenue for Marlin, at least the best that's felt to me, like where you get the highest high rolls and like the best kind of like overall game plan has just been like Big Arrow. That's kind of like at least my style that I like. But I think that there is merit to this kind of style list where you're just going like wide and trying to do like a bunch of smaller attacks as opposed to like one big attack. Gets around overpower, or like it gets around the problem with overpower a little bit better, which is kind of interesting. But I think there's a couple of different like directions you can go with Marlin right now. Like I still don't think she's like a solid deck, and it feels like a lot of the kind of card swaps here, like they just end up taking the deck in a very similar power level. Like there's nothing that's really increasing the power level. It's just like a different gameplay direction is what it feels like. But yeah, I'd say if you want to try like a more like buff Marlin, I'm kind of more of a fan of like the style list, but I do think that this style list also is like pretty reasonable as well. All right, but I think that's gonna wrap it up for today. I'm getting pretty tired. My throat's running out of juice. So I want to say thank you all for watching, and yeah, I'll see y'all next time.